Hey, welcome to Indiana Jones. I'm pretty excited because we have three fellas from NKY Films who have done a couple movies, Casually Cool. They've done Sweet Meats. They've done a movie called Run that we're really going to talk about tonight. They're going to be bringing their unique perspective of what it's like to not just be a fan of movies, but also work on the trenches on the other side. We have fellas who have written, directed, camera work, acted. And so I'm pretty excited to have these guys on. So, fellas, Eric, Ricky, and Gage, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Yeah. So be real quick. I want to get into NKY Films first. And so, Ricky, that's your baby, correct? You and Nicholas Hyance, you have created NKY Films. Can you kind of set that up just a few moments for the audience?
Yeah, that started as us wanting to name basically our current iteration.
Put your leg away.
Sorry, my bony knee.
No, dude.
Show
Quentin
my
Tarantino.
gams.
No, show your feet.
Put your
Quentin
leg
Tarantino
away.
might watch this if you show your feet a few times, right? We might get some Tarantino
We
love.
do have
My
a
gams for Eric.
crowdfunding thing going on right now. So
All
if
right.
that's your thing, then
Oh, okay. Yeah.
smart.
Hey,
Seems
if
smart.
you donate 1,000, he'll send you a poster
Seems
of his
smart.
feet.
Sorry.
Happily.
Ricky, continue.
Yeah, if you want to
Continue.
see them, there's
No,
athlete's
no.
foot.
Continue.
Yeah.
NKY Films was just Nick Hyance and I naming our current iteration of us getting serious about doing independent film or doing film, because it started back when we were seniors in high school. I think the first name was Dirty Road Studios. And then
It's so
Eric-
good. Such a great name.
Eric Hunter and another friend, Nick Prince. What was your guys' name for your?
So we did a thing. We were Unleashed Studios.
Unleashed. Okay.
And it was a license plate, as if they were
Really?
unleashed from Dirty Road Studios, our production company. Again, there was not really any infighting. Everyone was very supportive
Yeah.
in Northern Kentucky.
It was like, you're doing a thing and I'm doing a thing and now you're doing a thing.
And so
Nice.
it just ended up being like, then we had a sketch comedy show that this all weirdly goes back to the first filming that we ever did was me and Nick Prince in his basement with his dad was a freelance photographer, would go and film basketball games, whatever, college games, pro games. And so he had this old, like not just VHS, like 8-inch or it's a big VHS tape. And he had all this old equipment, and in the basement we filmed original sketches and kind of our ripoff. Like one, unfortunately, thank God the VHS has never been transferred, is or exist, was Nick and I lip syncing Ebony and Ivory as Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. And I am not
Man.
100% sure that we did not do blackface. And I can't remember who played who. I think I probably played Stevie Wonder because Nick could actually play piano. So that might save him. But anyway.
Man, if any family members are watching this, if any grandparents or aunts or uncles are watching this and you have an old tape, hey, listen, it didn't destroy Kimmel's career, huh? Oh, too soon? So, I mean, I think we're
Fallon,
good.
Yeah,
or Fallon. So I think we're good to go there. But so NKY, so that was maybe.
NKY Films just comes out of when Nick and I started, when we reconnected after I moved back from Chicago, back to Northern Kentucky, of being like, all right, let's start filming things again. We started making short films like Call, I think was our first thing. We're like, all right, what is our brand going to be? Again, because we're influenced by these production companies like A Band Apart and Rodriguez's Troublemaker Studios and just Kevin Smith of View Askew. We're like, all right, we have to have a production. It's like naming a band. We're like, what's our band name?
Okay.
And yep, Hunter.
So I will say, not to interrupt, but like,
No.
he's right. Like we were still doing things. And even with that disconnection with him being in Chicago and us being in Cincinnati, we were experiencing with like radio plays and trying to do more audio focused projects.
Okay.
So like we would write things and then like, we're like, all right, you record in Chicago and then we'll record it in Cincinnati and try to make.
It was really at the infancy of podcasting. Not to say that we were on the
Right,
ground
like
floor
the
or part
word
of anything,
was being
but like
bounced around, but it wasn't.
we weren't doing interview shows or
Yeah.
opinion things. We were writing it was fan fiction. It was a Star Wars. What if Dante and Randall were literally, I think we had seen the YouTube short where they did cops with stormtroopers.
Yes.
And we were like, what if that was the whole show? It was Dante and Randall, like that kind of because Hunter and I really love dialogue. We're like,
Mhm.
we'll just naturally, we will write a character. We'll be like, all right, what is their trope? What is their archetype?
Yeah.
I'll write in that voice. You write in that voice. And the third character, Gary, was this kind of like PTSD, had been like affected by war stormtrooper who was savant like. And it was just
Okay.
like, oh, is he Forrest Gump? Is he Rain Man? Is he like, what is he? And as we got into it, we started not even just using Star Wars as like parody or satire. We started using them to parody and satire other movies.
Okay.
Like Jackie Brown comes into this
Really?
podcast show. Yeah. Like
Really?
in a
Okay.
big way, like characters, but not even main characters.
Okay.
No. So again, like all of this is, and I'm
It's
going
just to say that we're lovers of movies. Yeah.
yes, but it's also the idea of like, and I say this all the time, and I don't know how Gage or Ricky feels about this, but like, I feel like we're just creating entertainment. Like, we're not trying to do a thing. We're not trying to say a thing. Like, it's just, we're trying to create entertainment that is engaging, that people want to watch and have fun and like take a break and that kind of thing. So, like, when way back when we were trying to get this going, we knew that we didn't have the money or the technology. And it was all about like, what did we have? Right? Like, what do we have access to? And it's so funny that's like all of that transitions into everything else that we do. Like me and Ricky always make the joke of like, hey, we have an idea, but is this a horror movie? Is this a stand up joke? Is this a You know what I mean? Like it's never what you think it's going to be, but we're always workshopping these ideas. You know what I mean? So when Ricky did a stand-up joke about a serial killer that was overweight
Yeah,
and
at me at that
obvious.
time, like
Yeah.
at that time when I did that, it was part of my dry bar special, my first album, Spitting Image. The joke was, I was like 350 pounds at that time. I was just like, man, in these horror movies, the killer is never someone who looks like me. And like I just stand there and being pretty fat, like
Yeah.
and just
It
being
works then,
obese.
but not now.
No, not now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now it's just like, all the killers are
You look like a serial killer now.
Yeah. Now,
You
yeah.
put your
see
hand
me.
up, you're
Yeah.
catching your breath.
And so it's so funny. My dad said that one time when we were talking about like acting, and I'm like, I don't want to be in the movies anymore, Dad. And not that my dad's forcing me, like it's like
Yeah.
like a dance mom
You
situation.
will be in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, no, Dad, why? Brother died. No, like now you have to be him, Kennedy's.
Yeah.
But so he was just like, man, he's like, I think you would be a really good serial killer. It was for a script that we had written called Roadkill, which this is NKY Films, is Hunter and I, or Hyance and I, or Gage now, this is how we get to run, is we're making things, we're being creative, we're in this creative like freedom and bubble where we're spitballing ideas. And that's how Run came to be, based off that joke about being an overweight serial killer in the 90s movies like Scream. It's just like I would fill out that robe and everyone would be like, yeah, we knew it was you the whole time. You
Yeah,
have like 80 pounds on all of us.
Yeah, it's
And
hard
it's
to
just
have a
like
scapegoat if
the
you're
reveal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it might not be Matthew Lillard or,
Yeah.
Skeet Ulrich in the costume because the height differences or
What was
whatever.
the
Like,
center?
yeah, it's like it's not that big. Like, but like my dad was just like this one script we had, which was what if Smokey and the Bandit was a horror movie, and so they weren't illegally hauled because the thing my dad and I always on road trips because he loves Smokey and the Bandit would be like, what would you do if it was nowadays? And my dad'd be like, I don't want it to be drugs, like I don't want it to be like
Okay.
cocaine, and I was just like, yeah, that would be lazy. I was like, what if it was black market organ harvesting? And like it was
That'd be
Cannonball
crazy.
Run-ish that people had to like compete
That would
to
be
transport
crazy.
this.
Yeah.
Like then they also become like almost like Death Race 2000, they become contributors into the game. So they start hacking up people to get the organs to get even more money
Yeah.
on the buy-in or whatever. And so the bandit character is this. And so I wrote this whole script where a lot of music that from that ended up
Yeah.
being in Sweetmeats
Okay.
because I had
Ooh.
already had it written for this world.
That country veal, that trucker, like
Yeah,
your character.
well, the late 70s.
Yeah, like that.
Those, I mean, the soundtracks of Smokey and the Bandit 2, Every Which Way But Loose, and Any Which Way You Can. That is Sweetmeats, or was Roadkill. But anyway, for that idea, which didn't come to be, my dad was like, he's like, I think you should play that if you make that movie. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be in, and this is before Sweetmeats. I was like, I don't want to be in the movies anymore. Like, I want to minimize my like, unless I have to for
Well, that's right.
budgetary
We had
reasons.
a joke internally about, is Ricky going to be the king of Turd Mountain on every
King should have turned Mountain.
Yeah, that's
King
what it was.
That's
We're still
funny.
pushing for it, but I don't think it's going to happen anymore.
But I was like, I don't want to do that. But yeah, so Run came about because we were on Casually Cool. The idea was we were going to do 2 films in 1 year through NKY Films. That was our gimmick to try to raise a budget for 2 films. Like, don't ask for 1 film's budget, ask for 2. You can
Okay.
make 2 films for $30,000. Oh, what a steal.
Yeah.
And the second film was the film that actually got us, was the first thing we were thinking of that we wanted to make, which was Truly Trudy, which was this Pretty in Pink satire, like musical.
Yeah.
And I am sorry, my computer keeps on asking me, no,
If you're
stop.
straight.
Why did
It sees the Dolly shirt.
And it sees the knee, it sees the gams.
Yeah. It's like, this guy's showing off some skin like none other.
But
So
Yeah.
Truly Trudy, like we were trying to do Pretty in Pink, as you mentioned, and like just creating a musical satire, I guess, at the end of the day. And I think the thing that got us was we focused too much, maybe solely finding the person who was going to run it and then building everything off of her, right? Like we were trying to create something that we thought was going to hit all the narratives when it comes to like social.
The different tropes, the constructs,
It's
you know,
a
Pretty in
harder-
Pink, you
it's
know.
a
we wanted to
harder-
make it a
it's a
musical. And that was the
sell
other
at-
thing.
It's
too.
a harder
Yeah.
sell at our budget where we're trying to, what we're trying to do, which would have been like a $30,000 movie on its own,
Yes.
which is insane. Like, it's the most amount of money ever, and it's the least amount of money ever. Like, especially for sorry, Gage, I passed the conch to you. You saw what we did for about $14,000. Like,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah, it was
access we
definitely
had
cool,
to
for
things.
sure.
So you can jump in on this.
And that's for Casually Cool, correct?
Yeah.
So a little backstory with Gage. He was a Coyote Ugly bartender. The guys here go in. He's
Gage,
doing his
take off your
dance.
shirt.
He's
Come
doing
on,
his
man.
dance.
Come on.
And they're like, hey, pretty boy, we could use a camera operator. And that's kind of how you guys all came to be, correct, Gage? So you're new to the party. So Gage, you talk too much. So thanks. Let's
Yeah,
get
I'm
you.
sorry.
Let's get. No, this is good.
I
So before
apologize,
Gage goes,
everybody.
Up until this point, I haven't. That's all before me.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, so
okay.
I can't answer any of those.
pre-G,
I can't.
pre-G. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. I
exactly,
love it. I love it.
exactly.
But now on the
Exactly.
daily, you know what's going on.
Exactly right.
See?
So yeah, no, I guess for at
He's
least for
part of
that
a
origin,
group text. We're part of a Heinz
yeah,
Gage
we're all in a
text.
group text.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they were wanting to use where I work as a location for Casually Cool, and then just in talking about that, we started talking about movies and stuff. I think I had also already sent you a script or something like, I don't remember, but I had sent something on Instagram to him. Didn't realize that was who was coming into the bar or anything like that. And then, like, while we were talking, I noticed, and
He was
then,
like,
yeah,
I think
by
I
the
reached
end of
out
the
to you on
conversation-
Instagram, and I was like, oh no. I was like, was I nice?
Was I
Man,
fuck
that's
you
hilarious.
guys? I'm out of here.
Oh,
Yeah. No, he was nice. Everything was
Okay, good.
fine. But then, yeah, it
It's also,
started-
you realized the thing you sent was a really good idea. Like, is something I think we should.
Well, no, the thing he sent us was like,
Yeah.
how do I
the
get
ghost.
into the Cincinnati filming?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you're like,
Yeah, I have an
I don't
idea
know,
for a
like,
short that
make a
will
movie
probably-
and
Yeah.
do a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the Bobby Mackey one, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, yeah,
happens to the ghost if they're place that they're haunted, like stuck to, goes away. Like, are they
Ooh,
conditionally
that's a cool
bound to
concept. Yeah, that's a cool
location? Like,
concept.
but so it's an unhoused. So
It's yours,
immediately
Gage.
when Gage pitched
This
that,
is
we
your
said about like
concept.
wanting to make entertainment, but like having
Ricky's
a
taking it.
message, but like also like just hopefully entertaining you. So like the message isn't hitting
Sure.
you over the head. So like Gage's thing of just like, well, what happens to unhoused ghosts? Like, are there families that like, and I was just like, oh, I was like, you have me.
Fascinating.
I was like,
'Cause well,
100%.
Fascinating.
they tore down Bobby Mackey's, which is the
Yeah.
most haunted, allegedly the most
Sweetmeats, yeah.
haunted bar in
Yeah.
the country. Yeah, they
Okay.
tore it down. So yeah, I was concerned.
That was your inspiration. So in Cincinnati, that's a place called Bobby Mackey's. Am I getting this correct then?
Yeah,
So
it is
so that's a
Jordan, no
local.
longer
Okay.
exists.
Wilder. Yeah, Wilder.
Wilder,
okay.
Kentucky, yes.
Wilder,
but
Kentucky,
but
okay.
that was the idea. But anyway, so then yeah, I'm a camera guy now. And
No, you're a writer.
No, you're
well,
yeah,
I mean,
you're on.
in-
Yeah,
at
you're
this
writing
point in
on
the
this.
story,
At
at
this
this
point in
point
the
in the
story,
story. Oh, yeah,
up
yeah,
until
yeah.
December.
this is
you're
chronological.
chronological.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But no, Casually
Less than
Cool.
a year.
It was incredible how helpful like the city of Newport was in general. Like I feel like we really made like the most out of our budget possible. Like
Yeah.
locations, the bridge, shooting on the bridge was insane. I mean, we got some shots that look expensive and they're not. We shot at Union Terminal, the Hall of Justice. But yeah, we stretched it. We stretched that budget.
Drone shot
Here's what I'll say.
with a scooter chase that we had actual clearance for. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't guerrilla stolen shots.
Yeah.
It was, we literally had the clearance to shoot there. And Bev Holiday with the city of Newport was just like, hey, you're filming on the Purple People Bridge. Let me know if anybody gives you shit.
So here's what I'll say. Like, and we're doing this from the ground up, right? Like all of this
Yeah.
is grassroots and all this. Just ask. Just ask. Is it okay to do this? Is it okay if I stand here and film a thing? Is it okay if I take a picture? Just ask. Like,
Yeah,
I
we
feel
were
like that's the
literally transparent and like straight up, like how we got Nick's restaurant for sweetmeats. He was just like, so tell me what this movie is. It's just like,
just tell them.
and I was just
Yeah.
like,
Just tell
all
them
right.
what you're doing.
So it's like at the end of the day, it's like it's like this. It's like if this means anything to you,
Or it's
Motel
this thing.
Hell,
or
blah
it's
blah blah.
that. Just like
And he was like, you mean like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? Like where they're feeding people and there's a chili contest or whatever? I'm like, yeah, like that. He's like,
sure.
oh, that's pretty cool. He's like, and here's some other movies that I went and saw at the drive-in when I was
Yeah.
a youngin'.
Just
And I
ask.
was just like, oh, I was like, awesome. So that's the one thing with NKY Film so far. It's been our benefit, I think, like what Eric was saying, is we've been really transparent about like what we're doing and what we want. And I don't think we sell a bill of goods. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Now, so before we get into Run, and it sounds like so everybody, Ricky sent me a screener. I got to watch Sweetmeats. It is on trauma.com. So Trauma's website has it where you can rent it and watch it. So if you guys like I grew up liking Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High. So it has that feel. And then, so like when you were talking about this Nick's restaurant, I almost said, was that like a place Toxie would have walked by as he was with his mop, and that was in that world, right? That's in that world. And he just walks
100%.
by and then
Yeah,
It
some guy's
wasn't
in there
thought
like,
of that way, but like when you go back, like it definitely influenced by those kind of movies and being like, okay, what era is this set in?
Yeah.
And what do we have? So like, even if I pictured it as being more of like a movies, like in Kevin Smith's universe or something like
sure.
a Bob Evans, I think is where Sweetmeats kind of originally lived. What do we have? Well, we have Nick's Restaurant because it's actually called Nick's Restaurant in Harrison Avenue in Harrison,
Okay, yeah.
Ohio. You
Yeah.
can see it from like every time we drive by it on the highway as a dumb dad joke to my entire family. I'm like,
All right. If you look to your left, you can
Yeah.
see a filming location of Sweetmeats.
and it says Nick's Restaurant in the back of the building, where the scene where they're going to the back alley, whatever, down to Bobby Mackey's. But
Yeah.
we got that location because Chris Morris, our producer, worked there as a kid. And so he was the introduction, and we were going to use it for a different movie where we're only going to shoot there for maybe 2 days, a budget we couldn't get for a movie called Open House. And that's how Sweetmeats came to be. And I reached out to Nick's restaurant, because originally we just pitched to him. And we're like, it's a restaurant called Sweetmeats. We would need to film for 2 days. It's commercial shown. It's like a Bob Evans restaurant, because that's all it was in this movie Open House. And for Sweetmeats, though, then it turned into this, well, here's the true backstory of Sweetmeats, this restaurant that just was just a thing that appeared in Open House, because that's how we do as we like take long walks with each other. Like
It's the
basically our
buffalo.
production meetings, like,
We're always harvesting the buffalo.
yeah,
Harvesting the buffalo is what you call that. Okay.
like we took the things from Open House and we had this rich backstory. And so we were able to build this movie Sweetmeats with the music from like Roadkill that I was already developing. Again, harvesting the buffalo, like going back
Yeah.
to these things that were like, all right, we're not going to make that thing, but what from it now we already
What did
produced.
we learn?
Yeah.
Right, if we
Yeah.
did
What did
the
we learn?
thing,
And we
like,
like
how can this
repurposed.
transcribe into something that we're actually going to push forward
How
on,
can past self help current
Yes.
self or
Sure,
future self?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, with that, let's stop you right there. And I'm going to start with Gage. I'm going to go to Gage, Eric, and then in with you, Ricky. So basically, with these walks and with the brainstorming, a lot of this is going to come from what has inspired you. And so, with all my guests, I like to do what's called your origin story. And so, basically, what I like to find out is what got Gage either wanting to be a camera operator, which maybe wasn't because you were maybe sinning because you wanted to write or direct, or you wanted to be that. What is a core memory, a book, a certain part of a film, a movie, a show? What's something that you remember that has made you go, "This, I think this is what I want to do," or just made you fall in love with movies? Then that later led to then wanting to make it something more. So, like me, I'm a fan. I haven't jumped on your guys' side of the screen yet. I have some ideas, but I haven't done it. What's that thing that got you to go more from just watching to, oh, I want to create?
You should come up and get killed in the bowling alley sequence with
Guys,
Giovanni.
you let me come up. I will pay for my own trip.
100%.
I will come up and hang out with you guys. I already love you guys. I'm not
Done.
lying.
Yeah,
So this is fun.
We
Yeah.
need as many people as possible to be
Yup.
killed in the bowling alley. So that
Okay,
That's a
all right.
melee.
Hey, and I
That
can
is
bowl
a
pretty good too,
melee.
guys. So if you want me to
Melee.
throw a strike as a lefty,
We
There's nothing
we
more
literally-
confusing
We
now than using the
literally
word
were
melee.
just talking about that today of
oh really?
scheduling the hours
That's funny.
of that bowling alley. We just secured the location for that.
Nice.
And it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, so Giovanni's one of those days. Okay, around that, we have these wrestlers in the movie, like, and they're going to be basically the stunt people of the scene,
Okay.
but we got to have this well choreographed, like, amount of kills. And like, all right, that's in the indie world. If we're going to have people pay to get killed in a movie, that's the best way to utilize is like, yeah, have them come in this isolated, like, it's a bowling alley.
Yeah,
It's
no, that's
big. It's nice. Like, what nice.
guys, I would love to be a part of it, but I didn't. That's not why I had you guys on the show. I'm
No,
not like
no, no, no,
Gage.
no.
I'm not like Gage. Feel, oh, I'm not going to send them an Instagram.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna invite them to my
Courtney-
podcast, and maybe I'll get into the
Sure.
movie.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
Courtney
Yeah,
and
yeah,
better
Stephanie,
idea.
Absolutely.
Sweetmeats, the two girls who come up holding hands to
Okay.
the that say they're from out of town, and the whole laddie interchange of, well, I guess we'll just have to kill you with kindness.
Yeah.
That's a Nick Hines joke for days. And they were podcasters who had us on to talk about All Your Friends Are Dead and had supported that.
Oh,
And
nice.
then they were just like, if you're ever looking for someone to kill, and we were like, yes.
Always. I'm
here's the
always looking for someone to
expectations.
kill.
Eric
So many
Hunter
people
is
to
in
kill.
Sweetmeats also.
Okay.
Is killed, like his tongue's pulled out. Like,
I saw that scene. I watched the whole thing, and I was like, I saw they were in like these little, it almost like, was it like a support? You were asking questions, but then you're just killing them and
Yes.
ripping out tongues and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
yes.
So,
but
but let's get to
yeah.
Gage. Gage, you talk too much. So Gage, what was it that started getting you going? Was it a memory as a child, a favorite movie? And then we'll get to Eric, and we'll end with Ricky, and then we'll get into Run. I just want to set you guys up as we start to talk about this love child of y'all's and just the story, because it's very interesting. You sent me a video, Ricky, of a podcast, I guess, and I listened to like breakdown of the script. I'll be honest, like I was like, this is awesome. Like the whole concept is pretty awesome, and we'll get into that. But Gage,
Yeah.
what kind of got you going and wanting you to take that step?
Yeah, I think always. I mean, like, I've always loved watching movies, TV shows. You know, my whole life, but never. I actually initially like WWE kind of got me more interested. Like I was interested in that first and
Okay.
foremost. I was like, I would love to either do that or like I didn't even know that like editing videos was a thing, but I was like, I want to make like the Rock versus Stone Cold promo. I want to make that. I know I want to make that. But
Okay.
from that, like I said, grew up watching movies and stuff. And then genuinely, I feel like this is so many people's answer, but like Kevin Smith movies was the first time. And then seeing his interviews and stuff, I was like, I could do that. Like, yeah, that makes it more real, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean
Not
that.
in the sense, listen, not
Yeah.
in an unconfident way, not in the
Yeah,
Sure,
sense
yeah,
sure.
where
yeah,
I
yeah,
get
I
what you're
mean
saying.
this tooting my horn and hit.
If you look
Yeah.
at like Kevin Smith, like
Yes,
the evening
motherfucker,
with
right here.
Kevin Smith to like now, it's a completely different person. Like,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the OG evening with where he's just like, yeah, and Tim
Yeah.
Burton.
It's
That's
funny
the one
whenever
we
you
fell in
watch
love
him
with.
now. Yeah, he is like such a dick. He's so I don't know if I can swear on this, but he's so mean to people in those first couple. No,
Yeah. No, go
but
ahead.
anyway,
You're good.
yeah,
So
Gotcha.
was there a Kevin Smith movie that you loved? What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Before we jump up to Erica. So Eric, because now listen, I'm with you on WWE. Listen, I went to a college where we watched every Monday night.
yeah. Oh
I was
yeah,
at when Jean-Claude Van Damme and who's the big hockey player that starts with a W? Wayne Gretzky.
yeah,
Wayne
yeah.
Gretzky and Jean-Claude Van Damme show up because they're promoting Universal Soldier with Bill Goldberg. I was at
Mhm.
that Raw event in
That's
Dallas
crazy.
when they show up not knowing they're gonna show up. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's
WWE
so
is
cool.
this huge, amazing action TV, like, I loved it, man. So I'm with you.
Yeah,
So what was
yeah,
it
yeah.
is there a Kevin Smith thing that made you go, "Hey, listen, if this guy can pull this off, I can do this," right?
It
Because
really
that's the beautiful thing
was.
about Kevin Smith. He just was a huge movie nerd. He just loved
Yeah,
movies.
yeah. It was just yeah, listening to his interviews and hearing him talk about how he did it, and it just made it more of a thing. Like not everything has to be a blockbuster type thing. You can do it with no budget and with your friends. So yeah, my favorite. I think you asked my favorite Kevin Smith movie. Now I'm gonna again maybe not my favorite, but just to be different, I'm gonna say Red State is terrific.
Ooh, what a
Yeah,
good movie.
yeah,
Red
yeah.
State,
Very
I
good.
love it.
Very
John
good.
Goodman, wasn't John Goodman a big character in that one? Yeah.
Incredible in
Yes,
that.
John Good
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
incredible performance.
Yeah, Red State. So before I had something to say, but Eric gets very animated and he's throwing me off. And so I wasn't sure. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Did you guys do some of the entries in the Smod Castle? I had some guys on who got part of the 37. So Kevin Smith does the Smod Castle big thing that he does where he has 37 films.
Eric
And one
Hunter.
of my guests a couple weeks ago, they've been one of the 37 films 3 years in a row here in Springfield, Missouri.
So we had
So
a
yeah.
really good time bringing some old friends to do a thing. So one of the, and Ricky mentioned it before, when way back when we were in high school and outside of and into college, we were still filming things. We did a thing called Dead Woods, which you could see on the YouTube page, youtube.com/NKY Films.
NKY Films, yes. And I'll have that link, guys. I'll have everything you guys mentioned. I'll have all of your IMDb's and your links. And I'll have,
Everything you
yep,
mentioned
I'll have, yep,
will
it'll
be
be there.
listed.
Yeah, guys,
Warning.
everything they say will be mentioned, except Kevin Smith stuff, because that guy ain't
No,
paying me
It's
nothing.
fine.
No, you guys are gonna love The Rock and Stone Cold. I'm telling you. Just click that.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Okay,
gonna
all
love
right.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're unaware, you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we brought the band back together, and we're very big fans of Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, and Robert Rodriguez, like they are the godfathers for us.
Okay.
It is the idea of getting a camera and shooting a thing and doing a thing. So like when this movie challenge came up, we were just like, oh, what a perfect opportunity to get the old band back together.
Okay.
And man, Ricky, I don't know about you. I think we did a thing. I think it was pretty good.
So it was the first year of the 37-hour film challenge. So I'm not saying not to do this. I don't love making short films because I'm just like, well, that's a sketch. Like, make a sketch. We'll film a sketch.
yeah.
Like, let's make a sketch
Which is
within
kind
the
of what
world
we did.
and just
We
like
filmed
for
sketch.
promotion for something bigger we're doing, like we've done with Run. Like, because I also don't just like creating content, but like if it services something or like builds something up. But like, so 37-hour film challenge, the first year that it happened, I was just like, oh, holy shit. Danny Johns high school friend of ours, and who's in Deadwoods, he's in town. And
What
I
a
bet
perfect
you,
opportunity.
yeah, he's in the Navy and like stationed in Hawaii. He's in town. I was like, I bet you if I pitched him, Hunter, and Hyance to spend to tell their spouses to
Sure.
spend a whole Saturday, not the whole 37 hours. I'll figure out the editing
Yeah,
end
for
of it,
sure.
the back end of it, to get it
Yeah.
uploaded and edit and do the music, do all post production, whatever. And so Hyance will help a little bit with that. But I was like, if I can get Hunter, Hyance, and Danny in town to be like, hey, for like 14 hours today, can you come over at like 9 a.m. when we get the release of this, this, and this? Like, knowing we all love Kevin Smith. And it's
Yeah.
just like, and we do this.
Like, this is how film works.
And so
Like, this is how it works
So
sometimes.
Hyance and I had done Sweet Meats. We had done All Your Friends Are Dead. So we've had in the short films, but us as the group that I just mentioned hadn't worked together since Deadwoods in 2006.
Okay, so it's been a while.
So it's been a
But,
while.
like,
So it's
again,
like
it's
Hyance and I
just
like delegating, and we're like, all right, this is the amount of time we have. We can only
we
give
all
10
fell into
minutes
place
to
again.
figuring out.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Everybody can pitch their idea for what this thing's going to be this short, based on the things that we're given, which was Cardinal Glick, chocolate covered pretzels, and the line like, and I'll always remember that as the best
Yeah,
day
I'll
of my
always remember
life.
that's the best day
or
of my life
something.
or something.
And we're like, all right.
Okay.
So we all went around and we turned a recorder on our phones and a timer. And we went around and we pitched what we thought. And we're like, all right, we're kind of there. And then we Frankensteined to what it should be using all the components. And we're like, and what will we use? We had access to a production studio that were like, no, that's dumb. That's in Cincinnati. That's like 15 minutes away. We'd have to ask, like they said they would let us in there. Let's just turn the kitchen here into the set. Let's clear this. Here's the teams. You guys set up the lights and the camera and the shots and start writing the script. Danny and I will start getting the props because we know the bare bones, doing sketch, what we're doing here. We had the characters, go. And then Blessed Bites, we submitted it to the 37-hour challenge first year, and we got in the top 5. And like,
Nice.
we were just like, holy shit. We're like, this means a lot. Like Gage was saying, like Kevin Smith being aware of something. Hunter and I have talked about this because Hunter was part of my SNL audition years ago, that I did a thing that was written by Hunter. And I was just like, people from SNL saw that. And he was just like, never a thing I
No
thought
idea.
of. So like,
Yeah.
to me, like say to Gage, to like fanboy a bit, like knowing that Kevin Smith might have never seen our short just being in the top 5 and not winning, because we also couldn't pay to go to New Jersey for the awards ceremony.
Yeah,
Imagine how poor you have to be
Yeah.
that you can't go.
Can't justify a
You
3
just
minute.
can't go to New Jersey.
Hey,
I just can't
I've
go to
already been
Jersey.
applying for a loan to come to your guys' bowling alley. So I'm like, I think I'm about to get approved. We'll see.
But it's
Holy shit.
it's on it's on NKY Films, Blessed Bites.
Blessed Bites.
That is our love to Kevin Smith and authentically making the thing that we thought would be the most entertaining with the prompts.
No, that's awesome. No, I appreciate it. I was just curious. So, Eric, what was the thing that got you going? Was it Robert Rodriguez? Was it watching Death Proof and seeing Happy, Thanksgiving, right? The
Sure.
spoof.
No.
How awesome was that to see a spoof commercial turn into like Machete,
An
stuff
actual
like that?
movie?
So
Yeah.
big fan.
Oh,
Yeah. So
thanks.
big grindhouse
Giving all
guy
that.
and all that.
Yeah.
What was
So
our
what
first
was
date?
yours?
What was our first date, Eric? Tell him.
Alien versus Predator? I
It
think
sure
is the one.
was. At the
Yeah.
Great Escape of the Wilder, baby.
Now, was that the one with in the town or in the pyramid? The first?
Pyramid.
That's the good one. I wasn't a big
Oh,
fan of the
right,
town
yeah.
one. The pyramid, I like
The
that.
dog
I
that gets
hate
pregnant
that I
by the
have to
predator. Yeah.
specify
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah. Was
Holy
it the good
cow.
one or the one that's like,
Was it
what?
the bad one or the worst one?
Isn't
The
it
bad one or the worst one,
Requiem?
yeah.
Isn't that what it's called? Requiem?
Requiem.
Yeah. Terrible.
I can't read well, so I think it's
It
something
starts
for a
off
dream.
with the right. It starts off with the
Yeah, it's with Jared Leto and he does drugs. No, yeah,
No,
Morpheus
it's
and
like
Requiem
any
with her
other
dream.
movie.
I get them all confused.
Dallas
So,
Buyers.
yeah, Dallas Buyers Club. There you go. He-Man, June 5th.
Well, that's right. I forgot
Yes.
about that. Like,
You
Yeah.
know what?
man,
If
you
you're
wanna talk
gonna
about
be if
slipping
you're
underneath
gonna
my
use
radar.
Leto, I mean, sure, Skeletor. That's great. Like,
Listen, I was another episode. I was like, Jared Leto, would you quit ruining quit ruining stuff I love? Okay, just quit it. I don't hate the kid. I don't dislike him. I think he
Yeah.
actually is a very good actor, but his roles like more. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things. But Eric, besides your love for Jared Leto, what got you going?
Love Jared Leto. Oh my gosh.
40
If
Minutes
you're
to
listening,
Mars.
please
Yeah, Fight Club,
subscribe
dude.
and
When
to
he
all
got
your
beat down.
fans. Yeah. I mean, no, gosh, I don't know. Like, I've always been one of those guys who was just like, I distinctly remember a teacher of mine being like, "Hey, what did you do for summer vacation?" It's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything." Well, that's boring. Make something up. Make it up. Yeah, you can just make it up. You went to Disneyland. You went to Kings Island. You went to the ocean. It doesn't matter. Make it up.
Don't be poor.
I never
Don't be
knew you
poor.
could just make. Well, yeah, like it was just I never knew you could make things up. All right, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna make it up. I was like, oh, that's a great story. Thanks, Eric. All right, great.
And you got that high. You got that
What?
high?
Yeah, and then just slowly like digesting not a horror movie, kind of a horror movie, but The Witches. I remember seeing that in theaters. It was like 93.
Mhm.
And like when the whole transformation comes out, I was just like, what the fuck is this? And not understanding like there's genres and, there's horror movies and action films. And just like, I understand this is for PG, but like, holy cow,
Well,
and
there's
just
also a
understand.
difference. There's a difference between kids' movies of our era, I will say, for like me, Hunter, and Dustin.
Yeah,
So,
like,
sorry,
like
I'm
before
rocking
the
40.
PG-13 and
Yeah,
not
Eric
before.
Hunter's
Yeah.
rocking 40. Dustin, I'm sure.
I'm right at 50. I just hit 50.
Are you serious?
I just hit 50, but I'm a redhead, so nobody knows I'm an old
Holy
man.
shit,
Yeah.
man, you look good. Gage, you just
I'm
turned
a
20.
redhead,
Thank you.
so nobody knows.
Yeah, people don't realize.
Gage, take your shirt off. Come on. Let's see
Yeah.
how young you are. Let's see how
Today-
young you are.
He's the
per-
young buck. Yeah, we're the old men. We're the old creepers. Gage.
Oh.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. So Eric, for you, witches and just
And
telling
Witches-
stories. So
Witches
telling
and lying.
stories. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. and it's
Don't
just,
be poor. If you tell them
Don't
you're
be
poor,
I
you'll
love
look
that.
weak.
Don't be poor.
Yeah,
that
that's
should be
basically
that
what
should
the
be a
teacher was
that should be a
saying. No, I
catch line.
mean,
Somebody in the bowling alley needs to say, "Don't be
Don't be
poor."
Scary
poor.
stories
Don't
to
be
tell in the
poor.
dark, and there's like,
They're fingering at the payphone if there's
Like-
still one there at this bowling alley, and person
Yeah.
goes by is like, "Hey, don't be poor."
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say is like, I'll read
It's
stories.
like a PSA.
They don't want to pay
I'll
for the shoes, and the guy behind's like, "Don't be poor. Just do this."
Don't be poor.
How many more bills do you want? But no, but then again, like I'll read stories.
We do
of,
have a
like,
condom joke like that actually plays into the narrative in the bowling alley scene.
All right,
Right.
we'll get to that.
One of the
Shut up, Ricky.
Yeah, we'll get to that,
Shut
Ricky.
up.
Gage,
No.
shut up.
Stop.
Eric, go.
Gage. Shut
All I was going to say is like, as a child, I would read stories like the girl with the green ribbon around her neck, and like reading that and seeing how sweet it is, and it's just like, oh yeah, if she takes the ribbon off, her fucking head comes off. But like, it's never scary forward. It's always like, hey, remember the thing that you do all the time? Here's the shitty fucking scary shit you can do with it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Or
always
here's what's
that
going
step.
on. Yeah.
Yes, like there's always something there,
This
like
was always
yeah.
going on, but until you pulled the
Yes.
thread,
exactly.
until you pulled the
like
thread to see what
Wizard
was
of
underneath
Oz
the
with,
thing you
like,
couldn't see.
the with like the chimps like hanging in the background. Or it's like it's it's viral material, but before all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
3 Men and a Baby. The shadow.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's again, it's
The
those
ghost
urban
in the
legends.
window.
Yeah.
Three
yeah.
men in the. Yes, I remember that as a
Again,
child.
being
So,
movie lovers of being like, oh, what are those movies? He was referencing the person hanging.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
the Wicked Witch, appears.
yeah. So Gage wanted to visually create what The Rock was cooking. Eric was told by
Yes.
a teacher to lie. Eric
Let's
was
do
told
it.
by a teacher
Don't
to
be poor.
lie. Don't be poor. And now, Ricky, what you got for us? Now he's quiet. We
Such
put
a
him on the
bitch.
spot. Let's go back
Well,
to
I mean,
Gage.
I'm
No,
trying
just
to think
joking.
of like origin because there's like the movies.
Well, and there could be so much. Like I know it's a loaded question. As much as you love comedy, as much as you
Yeah.
love all these different
Yeah,
things, I know it's a loaded question.
I'll say
so-
something I've never said before, which includes Eric. Of like in first grade, our origin story of me, Eric Hunter, Josh, I think Nelson was his last name, and Nick Prince was. We got thrown in a reading group, us four guys who didn't know each other, and it was you had to bring something to read within your little 4-person group, and
Fuck.
we
yes.
all
Fuck you. We're
brought
doing this again.
we all
this
brought
is the story we're telling again. Come on, man.
I've never told this before.
No, I don't think I've told it. We all
Okay.
brought comic books. And
Really? Okay.
And it was weird because like all four of us brought comic books. It's not like
Well,
all the boys in class
What
brought
comic
comic
did
books.
you bring?
I can't remember if it was a Spider-Man or an X-Men the animated series
I
first.
brought
You brought Captain Planet.
Planet.
Yeah.
Issue number 1.
Captain Planet issue number 1, not the
But,
one
like-
with Don Cheadle.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, no kidding.
This was, yeah. And so they X-Men, I think maybe Prince brought X-Men animated series issue number 1. And then
Sure.
like I brought maybe a Spider-Man or something or a Batman. And Josh brought like, I don't think he brought the Punisher, but it was like something like that where like, even at that day and age, luckily our first grade teacher was her first year teaching. Like, I think there were telltale
yeah, Miss
signs
Sybil.
of just like, hey, this kid brought a Punisher comic book to first
Yeah,
grade.
yeah.
There's
That's funny.
guns in this
Something's
comic.
fucked up going on.
No, look
like-
at me.
What I was gonna say is like the creating of the world, playing in a sandbox of a genre. At recess, I remember our kind of group, other kids in first grade, like Jack Fields and Doug Wilson, like we would all
Why
play
are you
X.
naming people?
It doesn't matter. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, Rick and Gloria name dropped me on the podcast.
Yes.
We play X-Men and like we would play
Yeah.
X-Men the animated series. And so like we'd play the first episode, I think primarily where someone would be Morph. Because unfortunately they get rid of him real quick and then they bring him back in that original animated series. But I remember recognizing in those moments, and Nick Prince was one of those people, along with Eric, we're like, okay, you kind of told people who you wanted to be seen as by who you played. So Gambit's a cool fucker. Like
Yeah.
Wolverine, obviously, but you got to like hunch down the whole time if you want to be accurate.
Yeah.
Like Cyclops is cool, but he's the leader, so he's following the rules, but then he also gets to lead the game, right? And so
Sure.
like no one's picking Professor X, I'm sorry. But like there's respect played to people who then pull like someone out of their back pocket from the comics, who they're just like, you know, Beast is in there. So if someone picks Beast, it's like, oh, they're cool. Like they can be smart and funny and whatever, and also a badass. But like if people are pulling like Psylocke or like some like weirder like other like characters within the X-Men universe, it's like, oh, I see you. And then those become your friends as like your film knowledge grows and your appreciation and like Mystery Science Theater. It's like those same kind of group of people you start seeing who like, oh, I like the things you appreciate because we're all getting these weird jokes and we're on this we're on the interesting frequency. So I think
Okay.
originally playing like X-Men at recess is kind of that first spark of like, oh, there's a lot of confidence and we're all buying into this bullshit. And
Yeah.
that's cool. And
No,
it's
that's-
not, but
No, well, no, but it gets you because comics, if you think about it, for you guys who are writing and putting it on screen, so we get to the camera, we get to the director and stuff like that. Comics is such a visual, it's your visual reading. So it's somebody's visually helping you. You know, when I read Lord of the Rings, Tolkien was trying to explain everything, but I'm still actually creating the images in my head, right? Whereas in comics, what's so beautiful about that is you see somebody start to give you those visuals. And so I could see that as a huge launching pad for people. Well, we had another guest that it was actually comic books, his love of comic books. He wanted to be a comic book writer, not a movie writer. He just sucked at drawing. So then he just, but he loved telling stories. You know, comic books, you know, I grew up on that. And so it's good to know your guys' backstory because with Run, now this is where Gage gets to be a huge part of it because so Gage, you and Eric are co-writers on this, correct? On Run. So how
All three
did,
of us.
Yeah.
and with Ricky, was this while doing Casually Cool, you started talking about it? Or has Run been in the back burner for a while? Or is this a brainstorming, walking along the bridge sesh? Like, kind of give us like the
So-
beginning of the Run. Gage, start with you.
So
and-
while
Air
we
chug.
I
while
am
we were
excited to
shooting,
hear Gage's story because I have
yeah,
one as well.
Okay,
there
good.
we go. We while we were shooting
Rashomon.
Casually Cool, while we were shooting Rashomon, no, Casually Cool,
Ricky,
I had
stop.
when we were
Gage,
in
talk. Ricky,
Japan.
be quiet.
I had
Ricky, be quiet.
seen
Gage, talk.
Ricky's stand-up bit that he had mentioned, and I said that I thought that was a hilarious idea. I wanted to write something based on it, basically, write something up in the same vein a little bit. And so I came up with a short. It was initially, I mean, that's all because the version of it in my head was kind of a one joke situation where it's like you see, Jason being Jason, and then it goes, okay, it's the 80s, the 90s, he's still doing well. And then suddenly he's very overweight and very out of shape and gets his ass kicked by a bunch of teenagers. And there's a whole bit afterwards too, but that was basically it. And then pitched that, and then that sort of slowly evolved into an idea for a full feature.
When Ricky was like,
that's
I don't like
kinda-
making shirts.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then that's kind of evolved into what it is now, I guess.
So
What it's
just
going
the
to be.
freedom you had, so they brought you into their group pretty fast, where you felt open to pretty quickly start sharing your ideas, where you weren't a little intimidated. So you were able to share that. And then who ran with it next? Ricky, did you run off of that, or Eric, did you just run off and go? Because based on what you're saying and what I have read Run to Be, wow, it has evolved very greatly. And so with your initial brainstorming and you bringing this up, what kind of started the snowball? What was that next pitch or that next idea that got you guys going and rolling down this hill that's called Run?
I think the whole
You tell it,
process,
Gage, yeah.
even in well, I was just gonna say, even in like while we were making Casually Cool, it was a super collaborative process. Like for everybody on the whole crew. I mean, everybody was throwing out ideas and jokes, and
Yeah, I think I made a joke about that before, but
Yeah.
no, like the way when we're on set, like it's theatrical, it's ensemble. Like
Yeah.
we're always looking for whoever has the best idea on set when it happens. Like that's
Yeah, these are the things. These are the
Yes.
tools. These are the actors. This is the scene.
we're doing a thing.
How
we're
can we
doing it
do it the
together?
best?
So let's just do it.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
have. Don't be like, well, this could be better if we have this, this, or this. Like, we don't have that. Like, what we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
are
yeah.
these things
Be
here.
dangerous
Yeah.
with what you have.
But I think Gage is like immediately. I think
Please continue.
you made a joke that you're. We've already said this before, but like, you're like, I've been making a lot of interesting camera choices or angles. And I think you said it to Eric one of the days he visited the set. And Eric was like, what does that mean? You're like, I don't know. Bye. And like, you
Yeah.
didn't know Gage. Like Eric being our co-author of Casually Cool and visiting set was just like, oh, it's cool and interesting to see this being executed, like what was in my head versus what was in your head, Ricky. And then Gage being like, well, this is what's in my head. And luckily, like Hunter wasn't like, you better check that footage. But it was like,
Yeah.
he looked
This
at it.
fucking guy.
I would always do one clean at least. I would do one pretty basic, and then I'd be like, all right, let's touch a
how
little
many
bit.
how many
let's do
takes
something.
did we like? Maybe the most amount of takes of anything was 4. Most
Yeah.
averaged on like 2,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think
I
we
think
had
both the-
maybe only
there's
3
two-
retakes, reshoots.
Yeah, there's 2 oneers in it, and both of those I
Yeah.
think took at least 4 tries at least.
But no. You and me for Alice Lindley lead in. It's only 2.
That
'Cause
was 2.
I played with that edit. Yeah. You fucked up on the first
Okay,
one,
okay.
and then you're like, you end it by going, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You hear him on screen say that?
Yeah.
You hear the
No,
camera
no.
guy say that?
Yeah. Oh, it's Gage. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
Leave it
mic'd
in.
up.
Leave it
'Cause
in.
it's
Yeah,
just
leave it
me
in.
and Gage. It's
That's
just me and
Casually
Gage.
Cool.
What's
Fourth
cool about
wall.
what's cool about it is it's such a dream sequence. It's a dream leading into a dream ballet anyway. And so a lot of times, and what's cool about Gage joining our team was it all started with making the feature film All Your Friends Are Dead, where Hyan's held my feet to the fire and he's like, I think if we're going to make a feature, it should be something that matters. Like it can be in this genre, whatever genre we want to make, but the story should be something that we both feel like, yeah, let's tell that story. I feel like we can tell that story. Again,
Okay.
going back to Kevin Smith.
Okay.
So with him and I, it was for All Your Friends Are Dead is we need one of the things for our ideas, your parameters are, it should feature a lot of you, which meant me, as the lead actor, because that's what we can afford, and him as the cameraman. So we kind of have to build a story just knowing that we have those two things at whatever time. Great. Having Gage in there, it's like, okay, if the scope gets bigger, then if Heinz is having to do something else, then it's like this shot for this oneer that Gage is talking about at the bar leading into this music video dream ballet sequence, where it's just like, all right, who's available? Gage got the camera. You know what we're doing? We're doing this, this, this. And he's like, okay. And we film it once and it's pretty good. And he goes, I fucked up. Let's start it again. And we do it again. And the second take's the take we use. And at the end of it, I go, as I do with Heinz, but now I do with Gage, and I did, was just like, did you get it? Because I'm not looking at a monitor, because I'm also directing, and unfortunately, this is the scene that I'm in.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did a monitor for
monitors, yeah.
Sweetmeats, but yeah, I'm in a lot of Sweetmeats, so we had other people monitoring the monitor. But like, so I like Heinz, Gage is now part of that trust of with his whatever, I don't know, I'm doing some interesting camera angles. Like, it's trusted because
Dutch angles.
he knows the vibe of the thing. He's part of the collective of like the weird hive mind, like not in a cult sense, but it's just like, hey, we all know the kind of humor and what we're going for here, right? Let's just make sure it's even as possible, that it's just not like bombastic throughout, that there's a good baseline, there's a good storyline, and we're executing certain amount of things. But Gage is part of that now.
Gage,
So Gage, you
inform
felt.
us.
Go ahead, Eric.
Vomit. No, like tell us how you feel, Gage.
No,
How
well,
you
with
doing?
Gage, it sounds like, you coming in and just getting to talk with these fellows, you've found an ability to be an extension of their eyes pretty early then. So it sounds like you've hit it
To
off
me.
pretty
I
well.
think,
Yeah.
I think just because, we all have pretty similar taste. Like whenever you do,
Bad.
terrible, awful taste in movies. Yeah. But
Listen, Casually Cool, I'm gonna stop you. Guys, you guys weren't in here. I talked to Gage. You sent me 1 minute of Casually Cool. I cannot wait to watch it. Like that 1 minute, that is
Again,
great
like,
shot. That is great
So
lighting.
The teaser?
It's
here's what I
the
will say.
teaser, and he puts his glasses on at the end. He's got his
All
roller
natural
shoes.
lighting.
That
Here's what I'll
is so, dude.
Out of
It's
any of
it's
this,
so freaking well. And that guy was so funny. Timmy, the actor.
Casually Cool is going to be such a heartbreak for everybody when they see it, because they're not expecting it. This movie's gonna fucking wail. And
I'm excited.
No
like
idea. They have no idea.
No, that's
It's gonna
good.
be
So,
so good. So
and your
excited.
tagline, he's gonna PI right in front of you.
He's PI in front of you.
He's
right
PI
now.
in front of
Again.
you, and he's got
Hey,
those shoes
so
that
I'm
roll.
not pointing fingers,
and then
but it's just
can't
like,
put
but
the-
even
dude,
that
it's so
stuff,
funny,
it's
man.
like,
It's
yeah,
so
like,
hilarious.
even
that
that
guy
stuff,
plays
it's
a
like-
good dumb guy so well.
So did that idea come from Gage? Did that idea come from Ricky or Hyatt? It just, I mean, these
The
things,
PI
like,
You guys
we're
all kind
always
of created
so-
all those angles.
Yeah,
Well,
like
but
we're always
we
we're
created
always
a game. We created a
Yes.
physical game that Gage still has to shoot the commercial for.
Fuck, that's right.
it's right behind me. Yeah.
That
Really?
so within Casually
I
Cool,
completely
because
forgot about
the
that.
gestations are, what if it was 2 episodes of Rockford Files, like part 1 and part
That's too
2,
funny.
put together as like a TV movie of the week. But it's episode 3 of this series that had 2 episodes you're not going to see. We're like, how much do we want to play with that? Like Hunter and I could spin yarn on the series arcs of it going into their 10th season, into their reunion
Sure.
movies, like
Why
Rockford
not?
Files did. But
Yeah,
so like
why
while
not?
we're making this movie, we're like, talking to the crew, we're like, hey, everybody, like, the way that we're doing this is it should feel this vibe of this world, of this thing. How we do it in post, right? Because the puzzle's always changing with indie film or with any film, honestly. What do we want to do as far as like to help us in editing? If we don't get enough coverage of something, should we have a hard edit? Sweetmeats had this with the title, those title card sequences. In that, when we're opening the crate in Bobby Mackey's, if you look time wise, I had to fudge my timing for when that title card would come, because I actually had a rhythm with where they would appear
Okay.
and timed out. And that I had to fudge it because I didn't get a good edit point of her going around and opening up the crate. I had to do it a little later. I had to hold the scene a little longer, but I justified it because I was like, all right, but this is the point of no return. right? There's patricide coming here. So maybe that justifies this bullshit edit to cover up something in editing. But we're like, with Casually Cool, we're talking about it with everybody as we're filming. We're like, we could have commercials. Like, this could be on a VHS tape where there's cuts, there's edits, there's weirds, there's things missing. Like you said, Grindhouse, where there's
Yeah.
reels missing, but in the world of VCR and VHS, because this is that comfort food movie of those 45-minute whodunits, those small Agatha Christie's that we all kind of love to some degree. Knives Out is showing that. Holy shit, David Boreanaz being Rockford Files in the reboot, the new Akiva Schaffer TV show Sunset PI. All this stuff is coming out, and it's just like, man, we filmed this movie in December. Like, damn.
Yeah.
But we're still going to catch the wave because, fortunately, I think Casually Cool is evergreen for a lot of reasons. But like on set one day, we were filming, and Gage is just like, man, it'd be great if one of the commercials was like Casually Cool, the action figures.
Tell us
Okay.
about that, Gage.
I mean, I think that was as far as I went with it.
But remember, I was leaving location to go somewhere else.
You and I,
then
didn't
you
agree
and
to
I
that, so that
text.
we can get
You
this
then
shit
put together
started.
artwork of what that would look like. Because I was like,
Yes.
they should be
yes.
like the same people who
Yeah,
made
man.
the Rocky figures and the A-Team figures of the 80s and the
They're
Karate Kid.
badass.
Like, or the
Badass.
Over the Top. Like, Over the Top had figures, but they also sold a pad for you to put your arm in armrest.
Oh.
Yes.
But it was just a mat and a pad, and they sold kids that because they just wanted to be like Sylvester Stallone. It's
Yeah.
insane. Again, a lot of this becomes Run. Like, we're also talking about Run during this time. We're pitching of like, well, if it was a feature, it'd be this. But then throughout, like within a day, we're like, okay, it's not figures. It's not a video game. What if it's a board game? Like where they would slap like Kolchak, the Night Stalker, or they would put on like Columbo, the board game, or Murder, She Wrote. And it was just a shitty, already made Mattel board game or whatever, Milton Bradley. But we literally built a game, like a pretty decent Clue game with like a mousetrap kind of like interactive fishing element. You don't have to show it if you don't want to.
So Casually Cool, you guys are going to be releasing a board game with this movie, or is this just for funsies on the
We
side?
could. Well, so we're going to film a commercial that features this board game that would be
Wow.
shown. Like if you were
Oh my
watching,
gosh. Check that
It-
out, y'all.
if
Casually
you were
Cool,
watching,
the game.
Wow.
That's
it is
awesome.
it is intricate,
Okay.
but
I'm a board
exclusive.
game nerd. Hey,
Yeah.
guys. The Thing, that's a great board game if you've never tried it with 4 of you. One of you's The Thing and the other 3 aren't. And you have to play 4 people. Great board game. You know, Munchkin. I'm a big board game guy, so you guys got me with Casually Cool, the board game. Can I get
It's
I do-
great.
I didn't. I'm not one of your contributors for Casually Cool. I probably didn't win the board game. My bad.
We don't have that. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah,
one of
no.
a kind right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so that's
I have
crazy.
3 of them.
That's
Nice.
there's not one of
nice.
a kind.
Shut your mouth,
Man.
Gage. Shut your
Yeah,
mouth.
don't. Yeah, yeah.
was gonna
no,
say.
it's
3
worth more if you said it was
boxes.
just one.
No, it is literally one semi-functional game. But anyway, so that, again, an idea that came up like while we were shooting of like, what is the world? And like, yeah, let's make this game by Terry Harrison, 3D printed it, is amazing. And like, this very specific one episode has a full-on board game. This 2-part episode
Okay.
within this world. We've even, Eric Hunter and I have even extrapolated. We're like, what if it's a prisoner situation? What if it's meta and he doesn't know that he's a
Yeah.
character in this reoccurring Groundhog's Day thing? Like, so things we've shared, like we would talk with the cast, like Eileen and Timmy, who are 2 of the leads in Casually Cool. We're like, how much do you want to know? And they would
Okay.
be like, yeah, tell me the whole buffalo. And we'd be like, you may be in a world that you're being controlled and viewed Truman Show like. And some of you know that you're participants and some of you don't. And it's
Wow,
it's this weekly resetting, because the one thing with Rockford Files, we watched 1 episode, Sleight of Hand, season 1, episode 18. And we were going to watch more. And I watched it and I sent it to Hunter and I was like, I don't think we should watch any more. I think we should just kind of vibe this episode.
Sure.
Oh, okay. So
It
that
just
was your
ran-
inspiration for this kind of the show
Yeah.
for that, for
Yeah,
Casually Cool.
because it has so many things that, like, Jim Rockford, this whole episode is about him being in this very serious relationship with this woman who has a young, like 8-year-old daughter. And it's like, the episode before this doesn't feature this woman or her daughter. The episode after this
Oh,
doesn't feature
right.
this woman or her daughter.
Well,
So it's
yes.
just this weird throw in and
But that was
I
week
think
to week. Like, we were like,
yeah,
let's make a thing that is so isolated, and it has the frameworks and this thing of a beginning and a after, like it's gonna go, and it's just this slice of this piece of thing. But yeah, you grab the mic, Gage.
Well, I was going to say, I
Yeah.
don't know if it'll stay in or not, or even if this is somehow
Well,
a spoiler, but we even talked
100%.
about doing
Spoiler.
a previously on, next time on.
Yes.
We filmed it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. Was like when we came up with this idea, it was just like it needs to be like
That's
the
Timmy and
middle.
Eileen. Their
It
criticism of
needs
our
to be
table
the
read,
middle.
we didn't have the previously on and next time on. And they said, we
Yeah.
think if this works the best way, if you lean into it being a 2-part episode that
Okay.
did air, that there was things, you have to tell people there are things before it. Like, you have to frame it for, even if you don't know modern television, old television,
Sure.
whatever, you
Yeah.
have to set it up that it is like Star Wars.
But it's
Episode,
cheating, right?
Yeah, yeah.
episode 4,
Cheating.
like blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're cheating.
Yeah.
Like when we take
We're
advantage of that.
emotionally
And it's like-
manipulating, which Hunter
Yeah,
loves
and
doing
it's
with
fine.
rom-coms.
but also just like thank you, right? Like what was the last time you watched a film or a movie or a TV show that was like it gave you grace when you walked into it and you're like, all right, thanks. Like I'm glad. Yeah, I got this little bit of information. I can enjoy this now. Like, yeah, like we're taking something that you already know.
It's the
or-
buy-in for me.
Yeah,
It's the
It's
same
like
as
going
Rob.
in clueless. I
Really?
like going
No
in
trailer?
clueless and leaving clueless.
Well, these days I would
Waller
say,
motherfucker.
as the movie fan, it's harder and harder to want to watch trailers. Trailers are starting to give us the
My
whole
God,
hog. They're
yes.
letting me
be
like
my
I can't.
spirit animal.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
can't watch.
I look at posters and that is fucking it.
Dude,
I don't
and then
watch trailers anymore.
you
I
can't
don't
watch.
see interviews anymore. It's all AI or dumb bullshit. I don't want anything.
Well, and then
to-
it's you cannot. There is no way you can watch a horror trailer anymore without it ruining
it's all the hits.
a twist or
It's all the hits.
or like this person's gonna die. Like you're gonna show me like
Yeah.
we were
So-
my wife and I were gonna go see Obsession. I said,
yes,
check out the trailer, and
yes.
she watched the trailer and she's like, well, I already know she's gonna be weird.
So
And she didn't. So we watched the
She's
Sheep
gonna be
Detectives.
weird.
And let me just tell you guys, hey, I'm gonna do a shameless plug.
yeah.
Sheep Detectives is one of the greatest movies of this year. It was
Sure.
so
I've
fun.
heard.
It was
I
so
wanna see
freaking
it.
fun.
Yep.
I
Yep.
laughed out loud so many times that this little kid's probably
Yeah.
like, Daddy, why is he
Because why
laughing out loud?"
not? It's a
It was
great,
so fun.
it's a-
It was so fun. So we saw that instead of Obsession last night because the trailer, I said, babe, check out the trailer. I'm not going to
Popcorn.
watch it because
Yeah.
if I see the trailer, I figured out everything. She's just like, okay, I just got to make sure she's on board with, because we do Tuesday night $5 movies in our town, you know, $3 hot dogs. College Station Theater, I've had the manager of the station
Stop
theater. Yeah.
gloating.
Yeah, yeah,
Stop
yeah.
gloating.
So it's awesome.
Let's
Stop
make
it.
sure we book Casually Cool and Run at this theater,
Hey, man.
and
hey,
we
hey,
go and get
Listen,
some hot
once you guys,
dogs.
hey, when you guys do all that, you can stay at Airbnb Jones, and I'll talk. I know the manager who picks all the movies for that movie theater. He was a guest
Yeah,
a couple episodes ago. It's
absolutely.
Curtis Killingsworth. He was
Yeah,
a guest
yeah,
a couple
yeah.
episodes ago, and so yeah.
100%.
But so she watches that trailer, and so we go see this other movie, and thankfully it was the trailer that made her go, I kind of feel like I know the whole movie. And then we didn't watch Sheep Detectives trailer at all. I just thought, what a lame name. But she's like, I just feel, with everything that's going on this week, she wanted a feel good movie.
Yeah.
So we go to a feel good movie, and it was everything we needed. We laughed together, we cried together, right? But trailers in general, they're just
Man.
now they got to have that teaser trailer for 40 seconds, and then
Hate
a
it.
month later they got to have the minute
So
and
what
30.
would you've listened to
it.
the podcast synopsis that we did for one of the earlier drafts of Run. There's
Yes.
there's a 41-minute version that gets a little bit more intricate into the script, some more details. But listening to that 21 minutes, what would the trailer be that you would, not as a producer of like, this is how you get butts in the seats, this is how you sell it, you would want to see as an audience member? Like, what's the trailer that
Oof.
you see based off of that would make you go, you didn't show me too much, you showed
Yeah.
me just enough? And like we were saying, setting the rules, setting the table. Like Elm Street for me will always be my answer of, and Hunter and I have talked about this, and I think Gage has been part of this, and it's been integral in Run, is how much do
Right.
you set the table? How much do you set the rules of the universe to the audience to make sure they have the best time?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a great question. I have no experience creating a trailer. Here's one thing that's important to me. the music that you put into it is gonna
Oh
be
my
it's gonna be
gosh.
huge. So that song that you have going from the beginning to end, whatever that is, like, have you guys ever seen when J.J. Abrams made that first Star Trek movie? There's this song from Freedom Fighters, Two Steps to Hell. It's just, and then, what's his name? Bruce Dern he's kinda narrating your dad. He's telling that story, and it's kind of dun dun and it's really slow, but then once the explosion hits, like a space fight scene, it's going with the orchestrated music, right? The climax of the music. So with a horror movie, I feel like they always feel like they have to dumb down that kind of strategy, and it has to be blood, 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 little cleavage, right? Your guys' movie strikes me as there's going to be a lot of humor. So your struggle is going to be, how do you not give away, like, I listened to it. I wish I hadn't listened to the whole thing because I know the ending of the script. So, and I don't want to give that away.
Yeah.
I know like, some character deaths and things like that. They
Yeah.
dive into the script, right? Well, don't do that in a trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that in a trailer. But what's cool with your movie, I think that would make a good trailer, is you have montages from different decades. So all you need is one kill from a different couple in a different clothing,
The
right?
triptych.
And then don't show the
Yeah.
bowling alley if that's a big scene, right? So you just have to show like this fun little, because you're setting up Run. Just for y'all know, and we're going to get into Run. Does anybody want to give the synopsis, or am I supposed to give like my loosely based? I mean, I'm excited about it,
I'm
but
happy. No,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
Go for it.
based
you
on my
tell it based,
understanding,
yeah.
based on my understanding, y'all, based on a
This
Fangoria
this
release,
literally
It's
helps
amazing.
Yeah.
helps
Everybody
us
loves it.
because
No,
we're
yeah.
we're in
We're putting a bunch
pre-production.
of money to it.
awesome, yeah.
We're still finessing the movie. Like things have developed from visiting like the farm that we're going to film at. Like
Sure.
story,
Okay.
Let him
like
go. Ricky,
integral like
stop.
stuff has
Stop.
like
Let him
built
go.
from that. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you telling
Stop.
us what you like see it to
Yeah.
be, it's like, oh, okay, great. Like
No,
not
this
that we're
is
like
what
focus grouping it, but like
No, and I appreciate it. And usually that's what you guys are on to promote. And I'd love to promote because I'm a big fan of just, I've never written, but I see tropes. I see act one, act two, act three. And what's beautiful about your guys' story is it does set up from right off the bat. It sounds like it catches like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel. You got this farm, you got
Yeah,
this
yeah.
son, he's a killer. And so this is not a good dude. He's not a good dude, but he almost becomes your anti-hero of the story because they're gonna capitalize on this guy as a killer. And your guys are kind of talking about capitalism. And so they're gonna franchise and make money off of killers. Is kind of how I get the synopsis. And so what the gimmick, I guess, or the story is, this serial killer starts to become a influencer. He needs likes, he needs all this kind of stuff. And so they're making money off of him, this Hack and Slash Incorporated or something like that, right? And so now this serial killer gets free reign to never get caught, gets to do what he loves, kill people, but he now has a boss. And so there's some humor in that. Like he's a working man, he's a working serial killer, and he goes through the stages, but he becomes like, I got the feel of, part of it gave me the feel of Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, one of my favorite, old
which
school movies.
crazy that they're having their Kickstarter for part 2
Yep.
right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited. And then you get a feel of almost like The Running Man, that world of them making money off of these kills and this gore, and there's money to be made.
Yeah, I think there's some Verhoeven. I think there's some like Starship Troopers, some RoboCop, some
Yeah. So you can have a real good fun. So it just depends on when you guys actually film it and you actually cut it, and you, based on how your actors act, your eyes and your angles. I feel like it could be a comedy, but I feel like it could be just a really good horror movie. Like it really has a good premise from beginning to end. Like I really wish someone was listening to this and would give these guys like $10 million. The story is freaking cool. It's a friggin' cool story, y'all.
I don't need 10 million. I mean, like again,
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
if
no,
you give
yes,
us like
we do need 10 million.
25,000.
First of all, no, we do need
25,
10 million.
50,000. You can take your budget and you guys are going to do what you can do, but you have some very ambitious stuff in this movie. And unfortunately, sometimes the more ambitious you are in your storytelling, that's where the money comes in. It's because you want to have that ambitious bowling alley where you want to be able to, what if the first day we spend all this time and it just doesn't feel right? You need that money for day 2 to not use the best of the worst. Does that make sense? And that's where I would want you guys to have that funding, because we've had other people on who have had a $50,000 budget, and they say like they only get like 2 takes really. They might get a clean shot, a dirty shot, a wide shot, and that's it. Actor has to nail it pretty quick. And they don't have much to go on because they've got to pay somebody, like, and so we'll get into that because you guys, I don't know which one wants to do it, but you guys have a cool actor reveal. and a character reveal. But if I
Yes.
kind of got the synopsis, so basically by the end of the story, this guy, oh, this is where you have you ever seen The Soldier with Kurt Russell?
Yes.
It has that
Yes.
2.0 feel, right? You have that
Yes,
feel like
yes.
he's been replaced. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite Kurt Russell movies of all time, y'all. If you haven't seen Soldier, you're stupid and you need to just shut up about movies and you need to go watch
You're
Soldier, right? So
stupid.
Soldier
my
is
gosh.
awesome.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so Soldier, you have that feel like he's being
Kisses,
replaced. And then he has that, and then
kisses.
Kurt Russell has that kick-ass, like, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no, no.
Yeah.
I can't be replaced,
Jason
right?
X.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Literally, Washington Night.
Yeah. So, so I got that feel by the end where he has to be, 2.0 version or the upgraded version of serial killers. And I think you guys can have a lot of fun. Trailer wise, I don't think you have to give a lot away, right? You don't have to give us some stuff with like his friend that he had, like all that kind of storyline. And, you don't have to really do that because you have a cool shtick. I hate to use that. I'm not saying
you
it's,
have a
but
cool gimmick.
you have that gimmick that is
once you
sets you
get
apart.
in the buy-in, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, the dude kills you in your dreams. You're gonna find out way more. It's like, oh, this dude is like the coolest serial killer. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like we had a guest on and I asked her the Mount Rushmore of villains. And she made such a great point. She wrote Happy Halloween. Her name's Brittany Greer. She's a filmmaker here. And they just released her movie on Prime and stuff. I had her on a couple weeks ago, and she mentioned this great point. When it comes to horror movies, there's villains where you don't have to go to camp. You don't have to have premarital sex, or you don't have to have a babysitter. But one thing that sets Freddy Krueger from everybody is you have to sleep. And that's what's so freaking scary about it, is you have to
That's
sleep.
what I say every time.
And so that's what makes Nightmare on Elm Street. And so her Mount Rushmore was Freddy Krueger and Nancy, and then Ghostface and Sydney. So those were her two,
Wes Craven.
that's what, yeah. And so she loved that. And it's a great premise. And so your bad guy, I didn't get too much into it where it sounds like for him, it sounds more Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He doesn't use a Texas chainsaw. I don't want to give all that away, but it sounds like he is a killer, right? It's slasher. It is that homage to 70s and 80s. So I don't know, based on your script, if he has to change how he kills. And they say, that might be funny. Like in the 90s or the 2000s, like, okay, our group says that you have to kill this way now, right? And he's got to like, oh my gosh, I don't want to kill. And that's where the rise of Leslie Vernon gets in. He's got to retrain, right? Something like that. And so it's so fun. And I hope I did it justice, but
yeah, that's
and that's run. And guys, it's on Seed and Spark. You can they're trying to raise $15,500. And so there's about 38 more days left. And there's different incentives. Because of the incentive I get to help name a type of serial killer. So that'd be fun. And so there's different incentives if you guys support.
Wow, yeah.
So,
Trust me, that's going to be fun.
So that'll be fun to come up with the name of one of these, because there's a company that owns all these killers, and that'll be fun. I know me and my wife, we're going on a road trip on Friday. We'll probably play around with, fun little ideas and stuff like that. So we'll get into that with you guys.
Again, it's like, it's like band
and if I
names.
get to come and die, I'm going to be so excited. I'll be
Make
so
an invite.
excited. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You
guys.
can get killed by your own creation. That would be fantastic.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Gage just nailed it.
Yeah.
Yes. Killed, hoisted by your own petard.
Ginger snaps.
Slam
Ginger
dunk.
snaps, and he only kills redheads. I don't know if ginger
My
snaps is a
God,
term,
actually,
but,
yes.
Yeah,
yes,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
we don't
He
ever
snaps
have to worry
redheads
about
necks.
him.
Yeah,
He's
ginger
killer.
snaps.
A killer
so-
named Ginger Snaps who only kills
Only
redheads.
kills redheads.
Is
Yeah.
my
It's
It's
favorite
like,
thing.
Mama had a
Yes.
baby and his head
he's
popped
like,
off.
hey, don't be poor.
Yes.
That's
Ginger
I'll start
snap.
practicing. Yeah. So that'll be fun. So, but yeah, so now that you've had the person who's on the fan side
Holy
that's
shit.
seen the
All
story.
right, sorry. Dustin,
Yeah, go ahead.
You're
Yeah.
going to play your own serial killer.
All right.
You're going to kill yourself.
I hate other gingers, them soulless
You are
bastards.
ginger
Yeah.
snapped.
Ginger snap.
Ginger snap.
Dude, that'd be so much fun, dude. That'd be so much fun. As a redhead who has been called ginger his whole life, and I actually hate it, it would be so nice. I only kill blondes. No, I'm just
That's his justification.
ginger snaps.
They don't have souls. It's okay.
Yeah, ginger snaps, and that's why they gave me
What's
the name. I
that?
just snapped one day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Give me
hear it
some of that.
too.
Give
Here
me
comes
some
the
of
ginger
that.
snapped.
I hear it too.
Yeah, that's fun.
Love
But so I hope I did it some justice, but kind of like go over with the audience from the writing standpoint. So the three of you, when you started Run, what was the inspiration? Like, was he Leatherface, or did he start as, you always were scared of Michael Myers type of a deal, but then just a knife and a babysitter, no, that's not gonna be run. Let's go. We need to come up with our own thing. Is there some movie about a farm that you thought, "Oh, dude, that's Sith. I call it Scythe. That's Scythe, man," or something like that. So what is it that inspired that got you going with this character run and starts there?
I think it's kind of trying to come up with what would have inspired all those things. Like, it's tough because it is supposed to be the prototype slasher, but you can't just go, "Okay, it's Leatherface," because it isn't. He doesn't really act like Leatherface. I mean, in some ways he does, but, like, it's creating a unique, iconic character and a new iconic character
Yeah, he's very
built off
original.
of the old
Yeah.
ones. It's interesting, but it does lend itself to using every inspiration you have to create one character.
I also think it gives us the agency to like make mistakes. So like when we were talking about how would he go from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, and he does the dance and we're doing the sunlight and it's beaming down, like, does that make sense? Like, what are we doing? Like, do we want to showcase what makes these movies great and how they push forward and pierce into what we know now as whatever the horror scene is? Or is it just an homage? Or is it just a celebration?
And that there's
Like,
like there was
what
bright spots even
exactly
in
or is this movie supposed to be?
Yeah, what's that fine
the
line between
yeah,
homage and, satire? You see what I
and
mean?
what
Like,
well, you said like if when he gets into the 90s, that's 100%. That is the end of the first act for Run. There's a lot packed in the first act. Like if you
okay,
watch Rocky 3, there's a lot of years covered between Rocky 2 and
Yeah,
Rocky 3. Maybe not actual years, but the years on his career, like
sure,
his
yeah,
rise, his like a meteoric rise to success. And they used again in the indie way to look at the Rocky series, how they're made. Stallone being this auteur, he was just like, all right, cool. I can self autobiographical look at what Stallone, what me, Sly had done, being on the Muppet shows, being only known as Rocky. And I can use all of this footage and use this stuff that I don't have to film for the first 30 fucking minutes of my movie. Like is a montage of stuff that I already have
yeah,
filmed because it's me, but
yeah,
it can make it Rocky. And it's telling the story of me. And he did that with Rocky too. I mean, Rocky 1 is obviously very much him, but as a boxer. 2 is about being known now as Rocky, down to the woman asking for his autograph. And he's like, to John, who I never met. Like, that's
yeah,
how
yeah,
Stallone felt about autograph. Those movies are so autobiographical, but done in the most protective way of this lead character, even down to Stallone's ex-wives being like, yeah, I wish he was Rocky because the guy I go to bed with ain't. And Stallone's like, yeah, I do too.
yeah,
So like
okay,
when we get into Run, that is that is Run, and he loves doing the thing he's doing. It could be boxing, it could be art, it could be plumbing, it could be whatever. It just happens to be that he kills, and in the world that he lives in, when he's given the free range to do what he wants, it's just like it's under the guise of like, yeah, and here you go. It's just like, no, no, no. We'll move you off of your farm. We'll put you in an apartment building, in efficiency, and we'll bus you to your basically amusement park of death every day to do your job for us. And you don't have to worry about a mortgage. You don't have to keep up the land. You don't have to work the farm anymore, buddy. Let John and Wes take care of this for you.
which I love that, John and Wes, what a good
And
good
like,
homage.
well, and again, if that makes the
that's silly.
movie, it might not even be ever said except for in the credits that it's these two guys that are like this Steve Jobs startup, like with the blue denim kind of look and khakis.
Sure.
Yeah,
That West looked like a professor. Like people when you talk about like on the Nightmare on Elm Street going in for auditions or Last House on the Left or Hills Have Eyes, they'd be like, oh, we read the script in these sites. It's like, oh, this is a brutal horror movie. Like this is some nasty shit. And you go in there and it's this professor dad with like leather patches on his elbows and just
yeah,
like very gentle and quiet. And you see John Carpenter and he's this boy from Kentucky with like long hair and like kind of like, oh, shucks, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but those two dudes saw what Toby Hooper did in Texas Chainsaw, and they're like, I have Last House, I have Hills Have Eyes, I
Yeah.
have Halloween, and then Carpenter's Crib and Bob Clark for Black Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
I love Carpenter and Craven, but they definitely talk about capitalism. Were looking at, like, even Don Coscarelli outwardly says, I was trying to make a buck. And obviously
Sure.
Carpenter with Mustafa Akkad is like, you want a movie that makes money? You're spending millions of dollars overseas for the Middle Eastern biblical movies. Give me $350,000 and I'll make you a multi-million-dollar indie movie. Because I just
Yeah.
did it on television, right? What was the movie, Hunter, that I haven't even watched, where He Knows You're Alone. That's a Tom Hanks movie, but the TV movie Carpenter did before Halloween, which you watch it and you're like, it's basically Halloween. Like, he does the POV stuff. Like, he
Yeah.
does everything.
Nerds, look that up.
Nerds. Get the researchers on it.
I'm gonna get on that. So I'll get on that and we'll figure that one out real quick. But go ahead, keep going with I like this.
No, it's just like using that, like making that the world, and whether it's like that Mystery Science Theater 3000. Can we make something entertaining where the buy-in isn't like you have to watch like Marvel movies where you have to watch the Disney Plus show before coming in? Like, you don't have to have the knowledge of this horror evolution in this world, because hopefully we're presenting it in a way that it's like, all right, you get what we're saying. It's this guy who loves to do this, but he gets a Major League Baseball contract. And then, you know what? Maybe he doesn't love it anymore because of all the rigmarole. Like, maybe it's Mighty Ducks 2. And it's just like, man, we loved it when it was just good old fashioned hockey. Like, it's basically that, but through the lens of the evolution of the horror as a genre, or slashers more particularly, because there's no supernatural killers in
Yeah.
this universe.
Gage,
Oh,
I
and
want
this-
you to
So in your world, and that's something that, so in your world, I see that he made a movie called Dark Star, but I'm not really seeing any of the, I'm just looking at the wrong, I'm not the greatest nerd to find information.
I'll
but
find it.
yeah. So in your guys' world, you want to create things like a Dexter world, like the Midnight Mangler. You want to create people like the Gemini Twin, things like that. So you want things that are grounded in a reality. Because even Texas Chainsaw Massacre is grounded in a reality. It's loosely based, and there's that weird
Even all the
scariness.
sequels,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all
And
reality of some sort.
yeah, and so there are people like, using a chainsaw to kill, or the Ed Gein story, things like the Jeffrey Dahmer, all that. There are some, in the history of our world and humanity, there have been some funky, gnarly ways in which people have enjoyed killing other people. And so you don't
in our
need
world, like
you don't need
a Norman Bates would have.
yeah,
been,
you don't need a
peeping
Freddy
Tom.
Krueger in your world. So Run is a character that can die. Is that what I'm taking then? So he is a character that is, or is he a world? So okay, yeah. So
in
I'm
the same
so I'm
way
just
that
curious
Jason can
is,
die. Sure, yes.
okay, so there is, so
we
there
just
is a little
haven't gotten
bit-
to
okay,
we just
okay.
haven't gotten to the shark jumping sequel where zombie Jason exists yet. Zombie Ron
facing
hasn't
the-
existed
yes.
yet. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jason.
right?
Jason
Say
X,
it
where she puts,
again.
when you put her face in that thing that freezes her face to death and she
Yes.
shatters, Jason X. I
Yes.
remember a lot of my
Yes.
favorite. What was it Freddy versus Jason, where it's like, hey, you want to have sex with us? And he puts her in like the sleeping bag and beats her up against a tree.
Yes.
One of the gnarliest
Me
death
too.
scenes I've ever
One of the
seen in a
best
But that
movie.
is- That is a redo of Part 7. So John Carl
Yeah.
Bouchard, who directed Part 7, the Carrie versus Jason is the one. It was originally
Yeah.
supposed to be the Freddy versus Jason, the first
And
iteration.
Jason X, there's a sleeping bag kill too, isn't there?
Well, they do it
Yeah, the joke
to what
It's a
John Carl
joke, though, I
Bouchard
feel like.
wanted.
But
in
yeah,
Part
that's right, because
7.
they're trying to make
Right.
him
It's
relive or
heavily
something.
edited.
Yeah,
So he puts the person in and he swings it once, and then the cut happens. That movie is so cut, like crazy
Okay.
for gore.
That
And so
movie's great.
Jason X,
Stop it.
Todd Farmer,
yeah.
No.
Kentucky friend, it was just like by that
And
time
it is like over
he's like
and over,
over and over. Like you
over
see
and
the
over,
blood
yeah.
and
Yeah.
like starting
Yeah,
to soak
it's-
in the bag. Like he's
It's-
hitting
Yeah.
it
And
over
if
and
we
over.
do,
Yes.
if we do make it to 10 million, we will make Run X. So if
Run
you guys
X,
want
okay,
Run,
And
okay.
someone,
all right,
hey,
yeah.
sorry, it's Someone's Watching Me. It was released the same year with Lauren Hutton, TV
Someone's
movie,
Watching You.
1978, written and
Someone's
directed by
watching
John
me.
Carpenter.
Yeah, because I just found out, I forgot that he did Assault on Precinct 13 for some reason.
So good.
Yeah,
we went
yeah,
and saw
so
it at
good.
the
The original's
theaters.
good.
Yep.
And then I even like the
Lawrence
Gabriel Byrne,
Fishburne?
and Gabriel Byrne and Ethan Hawke
Mhm.
did a remake that
Ethan
I
Hawke.
actually
Okay.
that was a good remake, but he's got the original, the older one, and so yeah, and it was a good one too, and it was more of that horror feel. I had a funny story. If you guys do come and show Casually Cool at this movie theater,
Mhm.
so one of my segments, and we can get into it, but I want to give some more in a run, but it's called Eraser, where I erase something from your mind just for fun. He
Yeah,
asked,
yeah.
he said, can I erase something for good? And I'm like, sure. He erased John Carpenter. He thinks he's so overrated. I was like fighting
Wow.
words. So I was like,
I don't think he's the horror master. Respect. So someone said, again, compliments that I've gotten about our
Somebody
film work
said. No,
was
wait,
just like,
but there's a whole
seem like
documentary about this.
you seem like John Carpenter who didn't leave Kentucky and get jaded by Hollywood. And I was like,
okay,
oh, sure. I was like, yeah, but luxury of being able to stay in Kentucky or come back to Kentucky and do what I want to do. He didn't have that luxury. He had to go to UCLA. Like that is what he had to do. And then of course, his trajectory, him being deemed horror master. Yeah, he's got some amazing horror movies, but like genre movies. And it's just like, man, yeah, you might have gotten pissed by the critics or, just not getting the bankroll anymore. But look at his films within these different genres, like
yeah,
Big Trouble Little China, The Fog. I mean, They Live is, you want to talk about a movie that should be remade? Like, that should be done with the
keep that in
wrestlers
mind.
of
I've got a
today.
segment today for you guys, a brand new segment with you guys. So I like it. I like it.
But
But
so
I
yeah,
want to give Run
yeah,
its love. I want to give Run its love before we go on to anything else.
Yes.
I know it's a passion project for you
give it
guys. And
its
so,
love.
yeah, no. And so with Run, guys, remember you can do now Indiegogo, that fundraiser is done because that was mainly for Casually Cool. Am I getting that correct? And so
For
Seed
Casually
and
Cool
Spark.
and Truly
So
Trudy, but yes.
yeah, so Seed and Spark, y'all, is a site you can go to. It took me 3 seconds with my email address to sign up. And then I was able to, get on there, make an account. I was able to start seeing all kinds of it is specifically for independent filmmakers to get some seed and spark, to get that seed money to just be able to say, this is our story, this is what we want to do. And if we can do that, these are the incentives, just like a Kickstarter or something like that. And so I was not familiar with Seed and Spark until you guys sent that to me. So I do appreciate that. Real fast for me to get on. I was able to contribute a little bit just because I like the idea of I'm a horror. I grew up on that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is Ricky and I cross paths on a Facebook site for horror movies.
Mm.
And originally the site was like, hey, if you guys have a horror podcast or if you're a horror independent filmmaker, start writing what you do in the comments and you guys can connect. Well, I
If you
wrote,
guys are fucking nuts,
yeah,
wanna
we're
hang
right.
out.
Yeah. So I wrote, yeah, and I just said, hey guys, I'm
This
not a horror
guy, this
podcaster,
guy.
but I do love movies and I would do that. And then he reached out and we were able to go back and forth. So that's pretty cool.
That's
And so
awesome.
I'm a big fan of that. And I like the concept of Run. What would scare me is very, very low budget can hurt it. So you guys have so much more because it's a huge world that you have. Like you
You're saying
have something
you
here.
think it's more auspicious than what we can. So I will say
It's a very ambitious
auspicious
world.
and ambitious.
Yeah, auspicious. I'm not good with the word auspicious. I'm gonna have to Google's.
Man, make a good
But-
site.
I'm just joking. You
So-
writers.
Again, we're using what we have
Yeah.
with, again, we are not, I don't think anybody thinks they know the 100% way to do anything. Like there's checks and balances amongst us all, but like bringing in the wrestlers via Gage and to try to get them to be our stunt coordinators and to build these choreographies, like Andrew Thorpe, who plays Lieutenant Frank in Casually Cool, a very verbose Columbo-esque character in that film, is Run. And that's because he has that Nick Castle, like athletic 5'11", 5'10" kind of guy shape, like doesn't look threatening, but has that OG Michael Myers build. And Andrew's a Gold Glove boxer. He is martial artist. He's very athletic. So it's like
Okay.
he can do these things. And when talking to him about the character, I was like, yeah, the most you ever say is 3 words in a row. That's a rule for the character.
Yeah.
And it's barely that. But we're like, but we think you could embody this character and blah, blah, blah. So coming up with all of that, Gage, what did you originally see as the character of Run to what like it's become to, as you said, like originally, like a Jason, did you see him as being a supernatural character, or did you see him as being an unexplained, like, yeah, he just ages, but like more like Superman?
It wasn't so much that he was gonna, like I think it is in the Rise of Leslie Vernon too, where they kind of explain how they do the stuff that looks paranormal.
Hmm.
The
That's
calisthenics
the
scene and
Yeah,
all that kind of
exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
exact that's why it played into, like, him getting old and out of shape, he can't do that anymore. So, like, there's a bit in the original where he in the beginning, you see a girl see him trip, run, she hides behind a tree, he's right there. And then later on in the short, same situation happens again. He's out of shape this time. So she takes off running and gets behind the tree and like looks, nobody's there. She looks back around the corner and he's like 4 feet further than he was, out of breath.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was at least, yeah, like I said, initially, that was it. But yeah, no, I see it, it's I guess they do. One of the things that I don't like in horror movies is when they start over explaining, and that's always a sequel problem. So
Okay.
initially, like, it's, you don't know, Jason came out of the water, maybe it's, what is going on? Like, I like that. I like the mystery of it. So never being clear if it is
It's almost
paranormal or
meta
if
with the urban legend of just like, did you hear about that thing? It's just like, man, there sounds like there's
exactly.
some holes in your story. The movies, even
Exactly.
because they were made so quickly after one another, like,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I think that answers the question. I don't know.
No, so you're still so this character is you like the idea of you want more mystery than like a Scream where there's a Randy character that's explaining exactly everything. Which Scream, that's a great part, but in your mind in movie 1 of Run, you don't really need a Randy because you're going to use your montage of the different decades to set up these tropes. I'm assuming is you're going to use that kind of a thing, and instead of having somebody physically a character at a video store saying, "Yeah, the virgin," you can actually just show it with him going through the different decades of kills,
Well,
right? You could probably
and
do.
trusting the audience's expectations and their like horror literacy too, where a lot of the past and explanations and everything can just be assumptions, and we're pretty sure they're going to be assuming what we're assuming,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
No, yeah, it makes sense. You want most people are going to come to a movie like based on your trailer and based on whatever trailer you do make, Ricky, like you'd ask me. I'm
Hmm.
assuming based on the story, where there's no way you can make a trailer that doesn't let us know. Like you're pretty much going to let us know it's got this feel of people are making money off of killing,
Yeah, I
and
don't think the
and
poster necessarily shows that,
no,
but
the
I think the
poster doesn't. The
poster shows
poster straight
another,
horror. Yeah.
but the caution at the top, like that was something that we went back and forth, and that came from Amy Hasselbrock, executive producer of Mediatrix Films. When we were building the first, again, how we build things is we take what assets we can get for $0 and through apps and through different like original artwork and stuff, and we throw things together to make these pictures for posters and promotional art. And so the first one we did was based off of one of my favorite Friday the 13th, which is not a fan favorite, is part 5, A New Beginning, or there's copycat Jason. And it was like, if Jason Voorhees still haunts you, you're not alone, blah, 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 New Beginning. And it's
Yeah.
just the lamest poster
A
because it's all
new
text.
beginning.
Yeah, it's just
You
all text. I love New Beginning, man. I love Big Swings. I love Elm Street 2. I love Freddy's Dead for different reasons.
you've got
Uh,
I've got the
It's
brains.
so hard to be your friend
so good.
sometimes.
I know. But so I think with that poster where we're starting off, Amy was like, oh, I'm getting a PSA vibe. She's like, what about this? And she sent me a variation of what I sent, and it had that caution thing. And I was like, oh, that's very British of just like, beware of the gap. Like just stuff like that. I was just like, oh, I like this. I like that it's telling a story with doing little. If we get someone's eye, I think they get a little bit of a story with this insignia of the mask and the caution or the beware or whatever.
And there have been nods too to the community safety initiative thing.
Yes. Yeah, that has been on there. Again, just when you don't want to over text bomb someone, but if you're going to use text, like choosing the font and how it is it readable? Do you understand it? Does it tell a story with the font that you're choosing? So then with Mark Schoenbach's poster, that is literally the Run Ranch farm that we're filming on. That
Okay.
is the layout that you see
Yeah.
visually.
It's
And it's all,
wild because like
Just
I
the way
mean,
he
you
was able to
say
catch
that.
that, and I'm gonna while you're talking, when I edit, I'll have that pop up, and everybody will see it as you're well, because you sent that to me, so I have
Yeah.
permission to show that, correct? And that way
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
Yeah,
show
yeah.
that.
Movie
Yeah, yeah.
magic.
Yeah, movie
Movie
magic,
magic.
so,
No,
yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's the symmetry of the farm itself and how it shows on the poster. It's amazing. Like,
Well, the
it's
It's
so
character
yeah.
itself is a good character that could have its own movie just about that day or that night it's ending, right? Like
Yeah.
it sounds like from what I've seen from the breakdown of the script. So everybody that's listening, what I got sent was a group that breaks down scripts, and they were breaking down kind of the script and kind of the cool different elements of it. And so I just listened to that. You sent me a 20-minute one, so I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened
Mhm.
to the full 20-minute, and it goes through and basically how they described it. I'm like, wow, this is so clever. But the killer itself could have been its own Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And then the sequel could have been a Wes and a John come in and then want to make money. Like the
Mhm.
ending of your first movie, your beginning of this movie could be the beginning of part two, where we've already set up Run as a serial killer, right? So there is,
Tell the world, boys.
yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean? So there is that option where,
Yeah.
or you could do a prequel, the beginning of Run. There's definitely franchisability, but at the same time, your script itself is kind of anti how we franchise these things, right? So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It kind of seems like, and so that's where I asked the question of drawing the line as writers between homage and satire, because you want to show what you loved and what came before you, but also, you guys seem like with Sweet Meats and with Casually Cool, there's a humoristic, satirical heart amongst you guys and fun amongst you as creatively. So then with Run, is it going to be this overwhelming comedy, or is it going to be a horroromedy or whatever you want to, what was it? Arachnophobia, thrillamedy, where we got humor in a
Yeah.
scary movie finally. And you remember thrillamedy was coined. And so, kind of as you evolve in this story and you guys, so pretty much where you guys are at now, you have a script. The script is done as of now, correct? Like you already, once the money's done, we know things can change based on your eye, based on angles, based on actors. Ginger Snaps might steal the show. You might want him in another scene, right? We know things can
Man, you
change,
have no idea.
right?
There's two
Yeah.
gingers that are already going to be in that scene.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
two
Take the
actors
bowling
because
pin,
Aaron
two
Williams.
bowling pins.
we're
Hey,
not
remember
calling
Mike?
Squash
ginger
their
Remember
heads.
Cop?
Oh,
Yeah.
are we? We're not doing that.
Remember
No,
the
no.
the reoccurring the cop from Casually Cool? Him
Oh,
and
he's
Aaron
already.
Williams, who are both gingers, are
Oh,
going
and
to
a
be
cop
in that
has to
scene.
die. It's not a horror movie if a cop doesn't die.
Well,
So,
yeah, we're not going to make
no,
him play
no,
a
I'm just
cop
joking.
again.
But so you have the ability to go straight horror. You have the ability to go straight humor, a combination of both. You could go homage, you can go satire.
But with
So with the
straight
way your
horror,
script
I
goes,
think the straight horror, the horror aspect is seeing that it's the indie film of this guy where most of the movie lives in after the montage and we set up the world. Is the horror is the monotony of this life of being trapped in this existence that you don't like and not knowing what the answers are to get out of it. And it
so
just
there's a
happens to be that he used to be on top of the world. But who did that matter to? Did it matter to him? No. Like, so what is so like, that's not to be like douchebaggery about it, but like
sure.
the horror of it, like I think having the jump
No,
scares, having
be
some of the gore,
douchebaggery.
Yeah.
Douchebaggery.
but like that's for me is like the movie is like it's fun and it's scary with the horror elements that we get to play in. But for me, it's the character of just being like, where do you become the final girl in your own story that you choose to live? And that's Run. Like
Okay.
ultimately at the end of the day.
So your protagonist, so he is your anti-hero. He's your protagonist, and he is your existential dilemma will be through him, not through a final girl per se. Really, it's around him, and then say that big, like who was it that fought Kurt Russell? Jason Lee Scott, right? Or like that big,
Mhm.
super awesome kung fu soldier, and they had that awesome fight, and it didn't look good, right? That kind of a deal. Whereas in Kurt Russell, if you look back at that movie, Soldier,
I
he
love that that's your
yeah,
touchdown. Freddy
right.
versus Jason's just right there, and you're just like, Soldier. It's
Well,
Soldier.
Freddy versus Jason, but I it just had this feel with the way your movie goes
No, I
that
love it.
that's what popped in my head.
We
Yeah.
talk about like we have a deep appreciation of like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies,
Yeah,
Chuck
yeah.
Norris. Like the last time me, Hunter, and Heinz, because I just moved, we were drinking whiskey on my back porch, and Heinz brought up this Ray Liotta movie directed by Martin Campbell from like 1993 that we hadn't heard of that fits in that like category of like you see the box at the video store, and we were just like, "Fuck, we got to watch that movie." Because we were talking about like all the JCVD movies, Seagal.
We
Yeah,
have to watch that movie.
we have to do it tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's done. That's the whiskey
Yeah.
talking, fellas.
Never.
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen tonight. So, because we'll forget, we'll forget tomorrow when we wake up. Text somebody, put it in the text thread, Gage. So,
Yep.
so with Run, so moving from Run, so I want to have a little fun thing. I feel like we've done Run some pretty good justice. It took us an hour to get into Run, y'all, which I love these guys. I hope, I'd love to have some more time with you guys. And we're not going to end right away, but I know that's getting late. You guys are Eastern time, but I do want to get into a fun little thing. I get to be their first reveal. So they have brought an actor in who is no stranger to horror movies back in the day. We're talking old school. And this actor stepped away. So who wants to be the one that kind of reveals that actor and the character that they're going to play? Eric? All right, let's do it.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is going to be in the movie. He has gone
Jeffrey
from
Epstein.
yes. Tom Hanks is no longer that kid who played D&D in that TV movie. He's gone on to star in a few other okay things.
Gage, I did that for you.
The
Just so you know.
long-awaited
Mazes-
return to horror.
I-
Mazes and
Just for you.
Monsters. I think
Mazes and Monsters, yes,
I was
yes. The movie
I
that was
know
made
a
to
guy.
stop me from being allowed to play
I
Dungeons
know
and
a
Dragons
guy.
as a churchgoer. That movie was made specifically to
Yep.
stop us from doing it, right?
Yep.
So, but who wants to give the reveal? Because I know that we can now officially, as of today, share this actor's name and who they're playing. Gage, Eric,
that's
who
the real
wants to-
excuse. The real exclusive is what
Yeah.
they're playing. So
Yeah.
Giovanni Freza, who this movie was already coming to be and happening and featuring slashers that had appeared in different things we made. One which was this character from the short called Tag that I had repurposed for Run of being like, well, what if that's the Italian branch? What if his name's Vespa? And it's like an old Giallo like motorcycle, all black, leather gloves,
Yeah.
AMB whiskey, whole Dario Argento, Mario Bava landscape. So while we're creating this content, seeing Spark to try to get people interested, like Gage and I went and filmed on a ballpark on a whim one day and just made
Saw it opening day.
Eric Hunter, one of the characters that's in the movie, the beater for Mother's Day. My
That's
wife
me.
Allie is Creepy Bunny. So creating these tops like athletic serial killers, like we could make cards for them. I was just like, Vespa. I was like, man, you know what? When I was in Chicago at the Public House Theater, I did a Mystery Science Theater kind of show where we did called Cinema Sacrifice, where we did Warriors of the Wasteland. We're also under the name The New Barbarians. And it's a movie that a friend of ours, me and Hunter, Mike Flincham, a grandson of Bobby Mackey, had shown me. And it features Giovanni Freza as a kid, basically a Macaulay Culkin before there was Macaulay Culkin,
Yeah.
long-haired, blonde, bob-haired kid. And I loved it. And so in Chicago, that's the first movie that I pitched for this new group where we were going to live riff this movie that we could because it's public domain. Through our writing group, someone was like, wait, what's the name of that kid? And I was like, Giovanni Freza. He's just like, unless it's a major coincidence, I think I work with this dude downtown.
No way.
And so he's like, look, I can't give you his email and his phone number.
But he
But
gets
we have
coffee.
to, but
At
like,
his schedule.
Location,
but like, I know him.
3:30.
He's just like, I work at that same company. I think it's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
be him, right? We looked at pictures and it's just like, here's his company profile pictures. Like, that's that dude 30 years later. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we invited him. We're like, we're going to do the screening of this movie. It'd be awesome if you came, if you're in Chicago. Like, this is what it is, transparent. We're making fun of the movie, but it's all good fun. We're not going to be like, you're a piece of shit and your movie sucks. Like, it's Mystery Science Theater. We're loving
But no, by the
Yeah, yeah.
way,
And Trace Ballew from Mystery Science Theater, Dr. Forrester and Crow, recorded the opening to our intro of our show via his phone.
Nice.
Again, just about what Hunter said, just ask. It's what I've
Yeah,
done.
just ask, yeah.
We just asked Giovanni, do you want to come? And he's like, I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid and went to the premiere. I would
I
love to.
haven't
Can I
come.
bring my 2 teenage sons?
Yeah,
And we're like, yep.
100%.
They
Yeah.
came, had a great time. It was a sold out show,
Why
only like
not?
a 70 or maybe like 80-person theater. Awesome. He was a superstar that night. We're a month and a half ago. I'm just like, well, Vespa appears in the movie and it's this Italian branch. I don't think Giovanni's been in anything. I've not kept up with him in 10 years since we did that show. I still had his phone number. I'm going to text him and just be like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. You did the show. We're going to do this movie in Northern Kentucky. Would
My
you be
name's
interested
Gage Daly.
in being like in the movie? And he replied back, he's like, I do remember you, Ricky. Had a great time. I don't know if you remember my sons came, loved it. Tell me more about this movie. Literally,
Nice.
Why not?
that's like a month ago, and that's
Why
where we
not?
are now.
Nice. And you have Vespa is an Italian type of killer, and you
Yes.
have that, and he was who you had in your mind as you started to.
No,
You have to say
I
that.
had
No,
that-
he's. Well,
we were
You
gonna
have to say
do.
no.
It was gonna be no. I told him, I was just like, look, your return to movies after 41 years. Your last movie was a Dario Argento produced Lamberto Bava, Mario Bava's son movie, Demons. Like 41 years later, is this something you want to do? He's like, I'm a physicist. This sounds interesting. And I'm just like, okay. It's like
That's
one day of
awesome.
filming, and it's just like you are kind of this white horse to run, because Vespa doesn't work inside of the hack and slash owned ran vigilante
So he
free
can
to
have
kill
his
you
own
and me
fun.
act.
Yeah.
So he's international, and like one of the things we prophesized of being like, in the future maybe there could be this from the 70s giallo movie called Vespa versus the Hells Angels, about Vespa coming into Dallas in the like, again, will this
Yeah.
ever happen? No idea. But I'm just like, this is the world, Giovanni.
Never
Going
gonna
to be this one scene in the bowling alley, which you'll be in.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Will you want to like, and you do this, and it's this pretty short scene, but you speak Italian, and it's paying homage to all these people you worked with. And he was just like, that sounds perfect.
That's awesome. Congrats, guys, on that. That's fun. That's fun. That I really like what Eric said, and you've piggybacked Ricky and Craig. Is just ask. It doesn't hurt to just. What's the worst? Like, I don't know. So there's this fun little movie on Prime right now. I make no money talking about it, but I've talked about it on another. It gives me some vibes. Are you guys falling in love with horror movies that are taking other genres like Groundhog Day, like Happy Death Day, those fun little, right? Well, there's this
Big
movie.
fan.
Okay, so have you seen Killing Me Again with Brendan Fear from Roswell, the old Roswell show?
Mm-mm.
It's called Killing Me Again. He plays the Midnight Mangler. He goes into a diner, he kills somebody, and he's back in the diner again. And the whole movie, he's like, what
Oh, I
the
love
F?
that.
Does he got to kill everybody? Does he got to not kill? Right? The whole
Yeah.
movie. And then he hates who he is. Like, he's so crazy, he becomes sane. Like, it's crazy. You start to wonder, is this supposed to be like some spiritual thing going on? Devil and angel. It's crazy. It's a fun
Fascinating.
movie. It's when I was telling you about my one segment, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I call it my ugly because it has its warts, it has its holes, things like that. But what a freaking fun concept and movie. And so when you're kind of sharing, like, getting sick of killing, I immediately thought of that movie because he's literally like, come on, he thought he had the perfect kill streak, and then he's just right back to where he started again. So I don't know. So I just love those concepts and those ideas in movies. And so I really am excited to see your guys' vision. And so because of that, I think you guys would be fun for my first segment. I've never done this before. I'm calling it Das Reboot. When I was a kid, my dad loved the war movie Das Boot. Great movie. If you guys have never seen it, it's just a great movie that dealt with World War I and II. So Das Boot, but I'm going to call it Das Reboot. So with your movie, you're paying homage to a lot of these movies, but they did have reboots. They had a Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, Friday the 13th, right? And we know that with capitalism and with Hollywood, they can make the wrong remakes and the wrong reboots. What is a movie that each of you would love to see on the big screen in the next couple years, a new iteration, just to kind of launch you off with an idea? If you loved, what was the Robin Williams, Jumanji?
Yeah.
I thought Welcome to the Jungle, it wasn't a remake. I thought it did it well. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't like the sequel, but the first one. I thought when you're taking a franchise, they didn't remake it. They rebooted it and they took some legacy stuff, right? And so something like Welcome to Jungle to me worked well because they brought it into our time and they used
It's that
some
last.
stuff.
It's you've mentioned two movies that borrowed the same concept. Last Starfighter is the exact same thing.
Yeah,
There's
so
this
Last
other
Starfighter is
world
one
that
we
you could be
talked.
more powerful in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so using the rules that they had already set in the first movie, that was that buy-in, and they're just like, wait, the only rule is that the game is real if you go into it. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, well, that's a lot of opportunity there. Like, what if it's a video game? Like, oh, okay. Well, if you just use the concept of like it's a game, you got to go. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
Last Starfighter would be a great remake. Is there
yeah.
one Ricky's stealing that from me, y'all. I think we talked about that off camera.
No, I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, but it's a great
I
No,
think
but he's stealing
structurally,
is a
Yeah.
thing that happens
you're
constantly.
saying Jumanji and Last Starfighter. I think you've mentioned two things that use the same structure.
Yeah, they just take that they take
Mhm.
what's existing. Oh, I think about Top Gun 2, right? A sequel that didn't need to be made, but was pretty freaking cool. Like, I loved, and so is there something in your head you're like, "Man, I would love but let's do it as a reboot, like a recasting." I'm not a big fan of, "Let's just don't cast it, but the only thing new is a gender," or like right? Let's don't
So
Everyone who's the not Muppet in the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
And so what's something that you think that can be
Giant.
brought into 2027, 2028 by the time it's filmed and made? And it's a story that you think, man, you know what? But then you look at Clash of the Titans. Did the remake really beat the first one? Like, we got the CGI, we got the
Yeah.
spectacle. CGI doesn't mean it's going to be a great remake or a reboot. They even said they were going to do Big Trouble in Little China with Dwayne
Mhm.
"The Rock" Johnson.
right?
I'm
Yeah, I
glad they
remember
didn't
that.
personally. I'm glad they didn't. I don't think he could have pulled off Jack Burton. Now if they had brought Jack Burton in and then The Rock was a new character.
You have to go a different way because not
Yeah.
every so the movie didn't work or financially it didn't work
Yeah.
because nobody knew the backstory of that Kurt Russell was playing his own sidekick, that he was playing someone who thought he was John Wayne, but he wasn't in the John Wayne role. That is after the fact. I think if The Rock goes in playing that The Rock didn't create that like Kurt Russell and John Carpenter did.
Yeah.
It would be, "Hey, Rock, just be you," and that's the joke.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's just
Give me
like,
that
"No, no, no."
eyebrow. Yeah,
So
instead of all in the reflexes,
said
do you smell what I'm cooking?
I'm gonna tell you what the sequel we've already talked about. It's always we can talk about hypothetical land every day because the movie could change. This movie only happens because
Hypothetical land.
because Truly Trudy doesn't happen. Sweetmeats only happens because Open House didn't happen. Roadkill didn't happen. But the sequel we've said to run is Hide and Run or Run and Hide, which it's like a Hobbs and Shaw, like in the 80s murder mystery, like on a college campus kind of thing, where we're seeing one of their escapades, one of their stories, like you said, but it's technically a prequel. It's a story within this, but it's another genre of movie within the horror world.
So like a Tango and Cash inside. I just love Kurt Russell.
100%.
Everything's going to
Yeah.
be a Kurt Russell
God,
analogy,
you are
guys.
gay for Kurt Russell.
I know, man. Break down one of the greatest
Okay,
movies of
so-
all time.
Oh, so
Run
good.
3, by the way. Now that we're
Yeah.
speaking sequels,
Yeah,
Run
yeah,
3 is called
okay.
Run 3 is Rerun, and it's
Yes.
the time
That's
travel.
such a
There's
good
a reboot
name.
for
That's
reboot.
such a
right.
good name.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
Rerun.
forgot about that.
What is it?
That's
No,
well,
it's not
you know what?
anything.
You have to see
We're
the
not doing
first
that.
one.
No,
No,
first
no.
that.
to get
We're
it.
not doing
okay.
that. No.
So the three of you, your team NKY. So we know that the first of the three reboots from y'all's side of this would be your own movie. What's something?
No,
what's
I do have a good
something that what's something that the audience might be able to connect to that they don't have, like all the stuff that the four of us. I don't even have as much, but I have more than maybe some other people.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You've sent me
Now,
some stuff.
here-
So
here's
what's something fun,
not
Gage, for you?
horror.
Because you talk too much, but let's let you talk a
To
little bit
do a
more.
reboot, I have some good reboot ideas. So hear me
Okay,
out for just
awesome.
a minute. Number one, I would do, I think, Black Sheep I would use Stavros Halkias and Mark Norman in Black Sheep, in a Black Sheep
Wait
remake.
a second. Stavros would be Farley's.
Yes.
Well, that would work so well. And Norm,
Yes.
and you think he
Mark
could pull
Norman
off
would be-
Mark Norman?
It would be different. It'd have to be very
Yeah.
different.
Okay.
Or you could also do Almost Heroes with the same cast, but
We talked about Almost Heroes on Casually Cool.
Are you
'Cause I
okay?
was
So
like,
let me ask you
because we were
something.
like,
Are
does
you guys
anybody know this
Almost
is a
Heroes
Christopher Guest
fans?
movie?
Yeah.
It's a Christopher Guest movie. No one thinks about that.
Yeah,
when they
because
think
I
about that
saw
movie.
like I love Best in
saw that
Show. I
movie
showed that to my
once.
wife.
We
you
watched
know.
the trailer
that's a
on the
great
set of
movie.
Casually Cool because we're just like,
Yeah.
look at this trailer. It's so of the time.
It's
And one
so
of the cast
good.
members was
It's
dead.
so good.
Both of them are dead now.
Yeah, well, didn't Almost Heroes was posthumous after Farley, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And then then Candy died
Dirty
shortly.
Work as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, Wagons East.
Wagons East.
Yep.
That's right. And Almost Here.
Mhm.
It's funny that you want to reboot two movies that neither of them were. They were not
Successes.
theatrical successes. They had
No.
probably have maybe I don't
The
even
word
know.
is
Do they have
good.
cult followings,
word is
guys?
good.
Do they have cult followings, or is it just your group loves them?
No, Black Sheep is
No.
like Wayne's World, like Tommy Boy, like
Okay, it
yeah.
is.
like
Okay.
Wedding Singer.
fucking
Like you say the
whatever. No way.
catchphrases.
No
Black
way.
Sheep, road.
Now
I don't know, man.
I
No
did
way.
only pick those because you asked for the casting. But if I didn't have to cast it. There's also
Cast
a
it.
movie from the early
Yeah.
'90s, Drop Dead Fred. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I used to love that movie.
Drop
Yeah.
Dead Fred,
And
isn't
I
that
would-
with
That's a
Fancy
great
Phoebe
horror
Phoebe
movie.
Cates? Phoebe
Yeah.
Cates.
Yep.
Yeah, Drop Dead
Rob
Fred.
would reboot
Zombie
that.
wrote on that movie.
Oh,
Rob
I'm gonna have
Zombie.
Rob Zombie reboot it next summer. Be
You
ready.
should.
No kidding. He ain't doing nothing.
That's
Zombie
awesome.
wrote. He was one of the writers of Drop Dead Fred. I didn't know that. My stepmother
and Pee
showed
Wee
me that
Herman
It's
movie.
on the
and
She
all
loved
Wikipedia
that movie.
page now.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like, holy cow.
But
So,
those are my
okay, so
answers.
good. Yeah, no, good answers. And I like throwing some cast in there, some visual, seeing the two people that could take over. Very, very tough chemistry between those two. So, all right, Eric, what you bringing? You bringing me something with anything with a cast or just a franchise, maybe, you know? We've seen so
So-
much. We saw Friday the 13th is getting Crystal Lake in October. So we're seeing like a reimagining as a show. You know, we're seeing I think that it can be done well. But then I know what you did last summer had this awesome, I thought it was going to be an awesome sequel. They finally come out with all these years later. And I just thought they did everything wrong. I personally hated almost the whole entire movie.
Hunter and I can justify Courtney Cox, Gale Weathers orchestrating all of Scream. So if they made that choice in one of the movies, we go back and watch them and there's nothing in this that would count her not for that. Like Dewey is different. So if we're saying Ray and like I know what you did last, David Arquette's been on the circuit now being like, I bitch Dewey's the killer and he is actually I'm like, that's just Doofus from Scary Movie.
Sure,
But-
sure.
Gale Weathers,
Because she needs that.
she's been doing
Give
the
it
whole
away.
time.
She's a clout chaser. She's an influence chaser.
She's
And you
been
could have
doing
that
it the
angle.
whole time.
Yeah.
If you go back
'cause,
and watch that series, you could justify that. And like, yeah, they might not do a good movie and that would screw that. But there's
Sure.
a difference between doing it well and just doing a bad idea.
But there is a concept that would work within the frame of the world. And
I
so,
think so for the
so yeah,
character.
so Gale Weathers could work as a twist.
But you don't think Ray would.
I don't think he were. I thought it was.
I thought it was a hat on a hat that they had a bad
Yeah.
movie and then they infused them.
I
Explain
thought
that.
I
hat on a
thought,
hat?
Yeah.
Doing too many things when they were just remaking the book. And then they had to infuse Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar in a dream sequence that looked awful. Like, again, you can make a good movie by doing like Halloween 2018 sucks. And that's the only thing David Gordon Green and company have made that I've disliked. Like go back to all their comedy stuff or like Righteous Gemstones, action comedy, drama. Fucking Danny McBride and David Gordon Green are knocking it out of the park. There's something about that new Halloween trilogy that ain't working for me for a lot of different reasons.
yeah,
But
you're right. And then Danny McBride, he was a part of the writing, I believe. Was he alongside Halloween's writing?
yeah,
But he did the Alien. Did he have any writing with Scott?
he did
'cause
for
he
the
has a
Alien
big
movie that
fan.
he's in.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one with
yeah.
Franco.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
Franco eats it. Spoiler.
Prometheus.
No, Covenant. It's not Prometheus. It's the third.
Covenant
of the,
is
it's the first of the new Alien movies after
yeah.
the two Prometheus or one Prometheus, where they're just like, you got to fucking put Alien in the title.
I
or-
thought it was Prometheus because Prometheus is the word
Nah,
for
it's Alien
originator.
it's Alien.
right?
No,
Is
but
it
I'm saying
Covenant?
the one that Danny McBride and Franco are in.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if
too much.
you're wrong, I get to have
Too
one
much.
speaking line in your
I have
movie.
no idea.
Yes, 100%. It's Alien.
Okay.
Covenant. What's his nuts from Prometheus comes back, who's the android.
Yes, that's
is
right, David. The David.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they turned the Alien franchise into an existential crisis of an AI. Fun times.
So you would reboot Prometheus, is what you're saying?
Me? No, I don't love those movies. Man, we've gotten a lot of Alien, Predator, and those are big franchises.
Got to end somewhere.
But no, you're right. I mean, I don't think Danny McBride, but again, that's them doing IP. So like David Gordon Green doing that Exorcist movie that I think has just disappeared. No one talks about anymore. Just came out like last year. I think
You were right.
mistake, yes, I know. Their mistake was doing IP. I want to see what Danny
Ricky gets a
McBride
speaking
and
line.
David. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. There you go.
I have nothing planned for this cat and run. So I think their issue is they're doing horror via IP, where Jordan Peele, except for Twilight Zone and Candyman being a producer, like I think he's been smart about how he's played within IP. And Jordan Peele's, I think, been more of like a carpenter. I think he likes making genre films. And as long as people don't put him in the horror bubble, I think he'll do better. But who fucks?
Yeah, so he's creating his own worlds versus running with an existing IP. So, Eric, do you have something that you would do that would reinvigorate an IP that you think that needs it? Like, would you make like Popeye the Sailor, but Popeye the Slayer?
They
No,
are.
I'm just, I
They
know
are doing
they've
it,
already
yeah.
made it.
It's
No,
already
they've
out.
already
We'll
made
say,
it. You know,
yeah.
like the Blood and
It's really
Honey
bad.
and Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah,
and now they
I've
got the
seen
Mickey.
Blood and Honey, and
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it, but I understood what it meant, and
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
applaud for what it is.
Yeah,
I don't
applaud it.
know. So we always talk about sequels and how why are we doing sequels? Who wants a sequel? Nobody wants a sequel. But I grew up on the Saw series. I
Okay.
feel like Saw is like my backbone. I've seen all those movies at the night before, and just I feel like there's something there. There's still something there. I don't know what it is.
You love the
And-
mousetrap.
well, yeah, and I'm not. I also think it's that thing of just like I'm just not smart enough to know what it is, but I'm still intrigued by what
That doesn't
it could
matter.
be.
They still, at the end of the day, when they're just like, this is the answer for everything, and just like, oh my
Well,
God, that's
but
so
I'm not
smart.
putting
It's like,
I'm not putting a hat on backward and be like, "Hey, kids, I'm 20 years younger." I'm not doing that either.
Sure.
I feel
I
like
get what
there
you're saying there.
is something there that they could do that wasn't Spiral.
Yeah,
Like,
Chris
I feel
Rock,
like
yeah, that didn't do
Spiral,
it.
yes.
Spiral didn't bring home. I'm a
Spiral
big
was
Saw
like-
fan. I'm a big Saw
Yeah.
guy. I love the
Yeah.
franchise. I just talked about on another guest the psychosis of his as a villain. He's one of the greatest. He's just great. And then I feel like their mistake was they deviated to too much torture porn, is what her and I came to agreement was. They went away
Yeah.
from him wanting them to escape to getting too much into the gore of what was going on. I felt like the last one where he was,
the last one where it goes to Mexico,
yeah, the
it
one
was
where he
the
was
interstitial between him.
Yeah. I thought it had some elements that excited me that said that there was something there because it was a revenge story, because they literally told him his cancer could be cured, right? So it made sense
Right.
in his character to have revenge on a set group versus just wanting people to have more appreciation.
I just
so
thought
it helped
he's
the
a
change of his
MacGyver.
character. Yeah.
Like, I
The way
think
he
do
creates.
another of that where it's like he's in a
Fine.
situation and then he has to set up against him.
Fine.
I love
Let him do his
the
thing.
reverse
It's just
Rube
like-
Goldberg, where he goes into a situation and then sets up their their commonplace on
Yeah.
them. Do that.
What about a movie that takes the element of Dexter? Maybe we can write something here, fellas.
TM.
We capture a Jigsaw. We capture
Hey,
the
we captured a
the
jigsaw.
collector. We capture a collector, his killer.
Yeah.
Marcus Dunstan had Jigsaw, and then he had his killer in the collector series. We capture some of these killers and we put them in their own game. So we take killers that do that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've put them in their own game, and then we're making the audience and we're making the reader or the watcher pick who do they want to survive.
I always wanted Jeff.
I think that's
Probst.
kind of cool.
I've always wanted Jeff to play one of the seasons of Survivor All Star, and he has talked about it where he was just like, at one point I thought about it, like I should play the game one time. He's like, but for one, he's like, I'd be the first voted out, like
Yeah.
immediately, just
Sure,
for
sure.
circumstance.
You know what? You could pitch that movie to Hasbro
Most
as
Dangerous
like a
Game.
Mousetrap IP,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the board game.
Yeah, the
It's the
last
Mousetrap movie.
So
Yeah.
the last, I'm not a writer, but that just popped in my head with you guys. But my last episode, I've actually thought about
Well,
writing out
Cube.
something. Check this out, guys. What do you think about this? Who here was Karate Kid fan growing up?
Yeah.
Okay. What if we took Cobra Kai and meshed it with the Scream franchise, but threw in a little April Fool's Day twist? So we take, remember the old movie
New
April
treat.
Fool's Day, that old
Yeah,
horror
yeah.
movie, right?
Oh, you mean
the
that movie
twist at the end of that?
Yeah, pissed me off.
Yeah, but then you take Cobra Kai, because I asked her the question, "How do you write a final girl?" And she says, "Well, she can't be Betty Badass, you know, and so she can't know karate." And so then I thought, "But what if it's Cobra Kai and it's a Scream type of killer?
Mhm.
Then our characters can be badasses, but then the kills are better, and we get to have some
My God, and you
fun,
do some
right?"
wire fu, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like the stuff that they're parodying in Scary Movie of blending Matrix, but you do it earnestly, but you have
Heck
to
yeah.
set this like Fantasia of
Yeah.
a movie though. It
Yeah,
has
and
to
my
be more
killer
akin to like House. Like if you've seen the Japanese horror movie House, where it's just like no holds barred. They're just like, this is a Japanese horror movie of the 70s. They're like,
really, no, I haven't seen that.
there's gonna be zero realism. Like we're gonna set it up that it's these girls spending. It's Texas Chainsaw setup. It's these girls in this school who are just going to spend this weekend at this one girl's relative's house out in the country just for a nice weekend, and then
Okay.
it's just like
Just
a,
a
a
nice
total like normal like setup, and then it's bonkers.
Yeah, it just never stops. It just keeps getting another level, another level, another level.
Well, that's the
So
best tagline of a movie ever. Is House 2, the second story.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, well, so is the house the American version? Isn't the version they're not ripping
No,
off the
no, no,
Japanese
no.
version? Because I actually grew up loving House
William
and
Cat,
House.
I think.
Yeah, well, I liked House and
Yeah.
House too, because I used to
Greatest
like Night
American
Court,
Hero.
and Bull showed up in
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Bull
old
used to
enough to
appear in a
remember.
lot of USA Up All Night movies, like Ron Bashir and
So
Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, that's what it's from. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so and my idea for my crossover with Cobra Kai and Scream, it's just the killer all along is just a sensei, and their parents made fun of him, and it was like he
Damn.
started realizing a bunch of them were in his class,
That's some
and he
great
just wanted
prom
to
night
teach the
shit.
he wanted to teach the parents a lesson. But then it has, like, have you ever seen The Game with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn?
Yes.
I thought I could have one of
Mhm.
those endings where he didn't mean for anybody to actually get killed, and then somebody does get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So then it's a game
I'm
within a
trying to
game
think
or
of
yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
fun.
like
I don't know.
martial arts.
I
Or
wish I knew how to write. I wish I
Rock
knew how to go interior. Let's put this. Yeah, I just don't know. It's just not how
That's
my
pretty
mind
much
works.
it.
You're already there.
I'm a
You're already
brainstormer.
there.
I can brainstorm with guys, but
You're
I can't
already
really.
there.
You
So,
type it into
yeah.
an AI and you say, "Turn this into a movie."
No, stop it.
Hey,
Alright,
I want to
alright.
have an
I'm
episode
joking.
all about AI, because as an
And we're
independent
done.
filmmaker,
And we're done.
does it help you
No,
ever? Do you
ban
ever
AI
get
from
tempted with?
everything.
Does it ever get tempted for your budget to have a little bit better of a kill scene though? Because you guys like horror. Wouldn't AI be tempting from a CGI standpoint, or no?
I literally just answered this the other day and I've never talked
Okay.
about this. I was asked because the interviewer had watched All Your Friends Are Dead and Sweetmeats, and they're like, I noticed that you did have some digital blood effects in All Your Friends Are Dead. And I was just like, yeah, that was because it was so indie that we couldn't reset the shot. And it's just like we thought it needed to have this extra thing. But now when we watch it, yeah, the bad special effects that doesn't work that we got in one shot would look better if we didn't if we hadn't added that extra digital like spraying of the blood, because that's the one thing that you're just like, oh, look how that just looks like it's just like plastered on. So like as far as like horror
Okay.
goes, I think that's one of the charm is just like, what do you have laying around the house that you can make look like an appendage?
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Because you guys do pride yourself. You like that practical effects and that kind of stuff, and pay homage to, I'm sure you guys are probably, who is it? Tom Savini?
Tom
Tom Savini.
Savini. Yeah,
I thought I was
Savini.
getting ready to
I know
say
he's
Tom
big.
Servo,
And then I
it's-
like Greg Nicotero a lot. So I'm a big Walking Dead guy. So Greg Nicotero's up there in that world when it comes to some of the practical stuff that he's able to accomplish. He has a bigger budget to accomplish it, of course, but there are a lot of practical effects that Greg Nicotero was always good at.
But it's also literally what we have access to. So there's no one on the team. So like Mason Conrad, who did the digital effects on Sweetmeats of the title sequences, the opening one, the flying like Superman, the movie, but in red where it says Sweetmeats. And then the end where it's the buzzsaw and then it turns into the tickets or whatever. That was all digital. I met him while buying a TV at Best Buy. He's the guy that sold me my TV. And he's like, I'm going to NKU, this school for graphic, whatever. And I was like, I had this idea for these credit sequence. Do you want to do
Just
that? And he was
ask.
just like, all right, yeah, again,
Just ask.
yes.
Dude, that's so
right.
funny. Your
Yeah.
TV, your
It's-
Best Buy
Yeah,
TV
man, just
guy
ask.
does this. Your bartender does this, and now he's one of your main guys. He's made a board game for you, for goodness sakes. So you just
It's
got to
awesome.
ask, y'all.
Board
So the
game.
moral of this story, everybody that's
fantastic.
watching,
It's
is
amazing.
just
Just ask.
Just ask. I
Just
love
ask.
it. Just ask. Hey, guys, can I really be killed in your movie?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think Eric
Oh,
wants me killed in this movie. I feel
so
like there's some pushback from Eric. That's okay.
we're talking about, so there's a lot of things that are going on with the movie right now.
Sure,
With
sure.
a
I'm just
lot of
messing.
news coming out and a lot of announcements. Here's the announcement that really matters.
Okay.
I am the beater.
You're the beater.
You
I
can
am
get killed
the
by the beater.
I could get
So
killed
if you want to
by,
get killed by the beater,
but is he a master beater?
I am
You know what I mean?
The whole joke with the beater is like
You could
he
be,
wears
I
a
could be
wife
a serial
beater.
killer
Yeah.
called the baiter.
The
The beater
baiter
is
and
the
the
baiter.
He
beater.
gets people killed by baiting
There you
them
go.
into situations. Yeah, the beater and the
Or
baiter
you're-
go
or
up
you're-
against each
you're the-
other.
no.
Ginger baiter.
You're the
The
you're the
ginger
beat you're the
baiter.
beater. You're
The beater.
BEADER. You're just like making beaded
now it's
jewelry.
getting
He's
complicated.
bigger and
bees?
beater.
Getting way
Bigger
too
and beater.
Bees are
Bigger
No,
and
no, no,
beater. Dude, that's funny.
Way
So
too
you're the
complicated.
beater, so you get to be a killer. Gage, are you wanting to do anything for fun now that you have this, you have a team here? You've seen Ricky has gotten be on screen and Eric's going to be the beater. Is there any kind of fun little thing you would love to do? If you ever wanted to die on screen, like, is there something you're like, hey guys, I want to be in this little scene? Or do you
I would
really do
love-
like
I just
the
thought of
behind
this. This is me pitching this right now. I'd love to come in like a Tommy Jarvis badass and just die immediately. That
yeah.
would be fantastic.
And
Like,
the
guys, I
and the
got
casually
this.
cool coat, right? The
Like-
Tommy
And-
Jarvis.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Just
like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movie
yeah.
Feast.
You know
Have
what?
guys-
I do. Well, I don't know if it'll be
That's
kept in or not.
hilarious.
I
Yeah.
do cameo in Casually Cool. I am in a bit.
Oh, okay.
So I could come back
You
as
can
the
tell it.
same character.
You
Okay.
can say it here. And it's
I'm
not like it's against
Timmy's brother.
God,
I'm
Gage,
Timmy's
you
long
can
lost
say-
brother.
Here.
So on
All right.
the next time on Casually Cool, like one of the interstitials that were just like, it's this, and it's like, and here's
What
your
is it,
long
Herbert?
last brother. And because we're just like, Gage and Timmy look pretty similar.
The
We're
beards.
like,
It's the
yeah, well,
beards.
and it's the Polish
Yeah.
like Chicago look.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
But like we're like, and we just had him come in and we improvise, and Timmy, because he does the line from Hook, right? He's just like, Peter.
He just started
Is it
rubbing
Oh,
my
you?"
right.
face.
Yeah.
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 That's so
So
funny.
another
Yeah.
little
Bear-
homage, like if you
Terrible.
pick up on it, yeah.
No, that's
Terrible.
funny. So you have been on, so you've gotten to do that. And so, Eric, is this going to be your first on screen? Have you? I know you've done writing and things like this. Will this be
No,
your first
Sweetmeats.
time?
Pulled his
You
tongue
were in.
out.
Wait,
And he's
you're
also
Yeah,
in
I
All
know,
Your
I
Friends.
tongue
He's in
pulled
All
out
Your Friends Are
Sweetmeat.
Dead. He's at
okay.
the
But I
bar.
will say, so with Casually Cool, I have two younger boys, and they are going to be background actors in one of the scenes in Casually Cool, which is just a fun thing for me as a parent to be able to, like, 10 years from now, it's just like, hey, guess what? You were in a movie. Yeah, the movie sucked. Yeah, but you were still in a movie. So
Hey, and
Here's
you never,
that.
hey, and
well,
somebody down the road, his memory of why he became a writer or an actor or so and so
Yeah.
was getting to do what dad does. That affects us, And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Man, if he can do it, I
I'm
can
glad that's-
definitely do it.
yeah, I'm glad.
We all become Kevin Smith to our own
That's
children.
that's the kind. So
That's the
that
dream.
could be a topic down the road, but that's the kind of nepotism I like. Just
yeah,
that little kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
that, getting to have those moments. A buddy of mine who was on a couple episodes, his son got to be just a little bit role, just an extra, and it just made that kid's day to be in, and so I love that kind of stuff. So, guys, thank you so much. This is so much fun that I would really love to get to chat with you guys again. I hope that you guys enjoyed. And so, you guys can catch them out. I'm going to put some links when I do make this copy. I'll be posting this on my YouTube, Spotify, Apple TV. I'll give these guys links so they have access for where they're at. But where is somewhere? So I know we got NKY Film, so that's somewhere they can find you. Ricky, I believe you have an Instagram that you're pretty active with, I believe.
At
How about
Glor
Eric?
Ricky.
Was it at
Glor Ricky? Yeah.
at
If
Glor
you just type it
Ricky.
in,
So-
you'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric, I know you have a website because you've got some books and you've written some books and things. What is some things where people can check you guys out before we wrap this up, where they can stay in touch with you over the summer or whatever?
Eric M. Hunter, pretty much anywhere. Reach out, Gage. Reach out to me.
I'm
What do you
on.
got?
Yeah, I'll send you a DM. I'm
Good.
on Instagram. It's just Daily Media. So
Such a good-
DAILEY Media.
It's so good.
It is
Yeah.
good. Daily media. I like that. I don't know if it's as good as Indy and a Jones, but it's pretty good there.
No, it's
Gage.
not. No,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I like that daily media. And so you guys
Love
can
it.
follow these guys. And then remember Seed and Spark. I'm going to put a link to that where you guys can become part of the funding of them because there is an amount of money that they're wanting to raise. That's $15,500. 10 million if we can get. I'm thinking big for these guys. I love that they're going to be able to do with whatever they have, they're going to do their best with. But I'm pulling an Eric Hunter. I'm just asking for more, guys. I want them to have a little bit more. That's all I'm asking.
Why not?
I'm asking
Just
for
ask.
you as a
And if-
viewer to click
Just
on.
ask.
If
We
you've
get to
never
make
given
this.
any money,
Yep.
if you've
Just
never,
ask.
if you've never given any money, you'll see all the different incentives. And if you say, you know what, it would be cool
Just
to
ask.
have my picture on a bowling alley champion as they're walking by. That's one of the incentives. You're just a picture, maybe
That's
in a
a great
frame
idea.
somewhere. So have
Why
some
not?
fun. Yeah, 300. Basically your 300, your past 300 winners can be the people
Yes.
from that incentive, right? You can have a little
Yes.
fun. And so, guys, get involved. Girls, get involved with that. So that's on Seed and Spark. Check them out on their sites. It's called Run. Their hope is September to start filming it and to have that ready. Casually Cool is that in post production, and we're about to get some action where we can watch that. How can I, as an audience member that's not getting a screen link or something like that, just a casual fan, how can I get my hands,
Casual.
or where am I going to be able to get my get that casually cool fan? Where am I going to be able to get access to that, or when?
To me, Hart Barron is currently editing Casually Cool. We're going to have hopefully a final edit by October, probably right around when we're finishing filming Run. Pretty much the same crew and actors who helped make Casually Cool will probably all be together filming the next movie and be able to watch that edit and then start to plan in 2027 festival circuit. My hope is, because we will completely own the movie, or we do as of right now, is to kind of four-wall it. Try to get theaters like the Missouri Theater, try to be there with the people that we're trying to meet and grassroots it, get it seen that way. And I guess piggyback off of this resurgence of the private detective love that's happening right
So
now.
weird.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
also
big
think-
one.
I
RJ
think it's gonna
Decker.
be
We
an
just got an
interesting
RJ
movie
Decker.
because- Yeah. Well, so the character's RF cool.
RF cool.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, Casually Cool. Again, not knowing, having zero idea. The one good thing with Casually Cool is because they're like sweetmeats, it's an ambiguous time that the movie takes place in. I think it's I think it's like a PG-13 movie. Like, I think it's funny. I think it's a whodunit. And I think
We'll
at the
see.
end of the day, pretty much anybody can come and see it, which makes it an interesting film.
My
Good.
cameo was full frontal though, so we'll probably have to cut that.
That's the
Yeah,
uncensored,
that's where you might
like,
want to do some
Walmart
CGI,
version.
put a little
Did you
shirt or
say
a
you had
skirt,
to
a kilt.
cut
Yeah.
it?
Take
Yep,
off
I
your
don't
shirt
think so.
cage. Take it off.
I feel like I'm back on set.
No, that's funny. So, guys, we appreciate you
No, that's funny. Just
on set.
laugh.
You guys kept trying to take
Stop.
your shirt off. All right, guys, on that note, peace. No, so thank you guys for watching. And I'd love to just do individual meetings with each of you, and anybody else on your crew. If you think they would have fun, let me know. And let's do some more hype as we get down the road. And then we'll figure out, I'll pay for myself to get there, but let's just figure out my character and let's get this going. Okay, guys? So thank you all so much for joining
Give me the
Indiana Jones.
backstory.
Yep. I hope you guys all have a blessed day. Thank you for joining.